And we are back. Couch Company Podcast. I'm John. With me, as always, Tyler.
Hey, it's me.
And I was just telling Tyler. Yeah, welcome. Welcome back.
Thank you. I love it when you say welcome. Welcome to your house.
Yeah, welcome to your house.
Yeah.
Your setup. Anyways, I was talking about your cup, but then I was like, why not we just, record this? We always talk before.
Yeah, it's
like
the first time we just jump right in.
And then we just jump in right in. So anyways, he has a World of Warcraft mug right next to me with...
That's legit. That's from Blizzard. So it's not even like a ripoff or anything. That's a collector's mug.
Did you buy it specifically, or did you get it for purchasing?
No, I bought it specifically.
Because there's an orc on it?
So yeah. So I went through a phase. So back when we were doing Steel City Con, Kyle and I would just sit there and we're bored some of the time.
Yeah.
And then we make our way on to like different fan sites.
Sure.
And Blizzard's was one of them. And that's when I bought like I have canvases, like big 26 by 20 canvases or whatever, of StarCraft, Diablo. I got that mug. I got an Overwatch mug.
Big Blizzard guy.
Yeah, apparently I like Blizzard. I don't know.
Dude, I was like really close into getting into like World of Warcraft, the lore itself. Like, okay, so I played the game when I was younger.
Yeah.
And like, it's not good. It's not a good game.
World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Like MMOs are just terrible.
Sure.
But you remember when the movie came out?
I do.
Dude,
yeah.
I actually really liked the movie. And I was like, man, this lore is pretty interesting. But I guess the movie flopped, and then they just never did anything with it.
The movie wasn't great. I didn't like Medivh.
See, I didn't know anyone, right?
Yeah.
So it was all fresh to me. So from a fresh...
They try to make it a little bit more... Like, they try to make it a little bit more realistic. But it was just like, dude, we just want the big pauldrons. We just want the big, like, just over-the-top, exaggerated characters. Like, you should have just made an animated movie. Like, if they took, like a cyberpunk approach or an arcane approach and just animated the like crap out of it, and like it would have been fine.
Dude, I mean, everyone always talks about like animating movies. Like anytime you see an animated trailer for like a video game or something, like you remember the DC Universe like animated,
how could I not?
Right, and it's like still kind of holds up to this day actually, which is crazy to think about.
You can see what they were going for. Like you
100%.
Understood the animation and everything. Yeah.
And it's like, dude, why not just make the movie? It's like people do not realize how expensive that shit is.
Yeah, no, it's super
godly.
It's so expensive that in the remake of Warcraft 3, they did the first scene, and then just didn't do any of the other stuff.
Still salty about that.
Yeah,
that might be the worst remaster of all time.
Ooh, yeah, I think some people would probably say Full Throttle, but I never played that. I just
the thing is, it's like I think comparatively because of the expectations of it and what was it just was so misleading on
they straight up lied,
right?
Like all their key art and everything that they were like, oh look at this, like it just didn't exist
in the game, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of the trailer stuff just was nowhere to be found. Yeah, right.
Even after they were called out for it, it stayed on the page for a while.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's not great. And it hasn't gone on sale at all, period.
They just don't want people to buy it.
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. So anyways, I mean, I think the lore of like World of Warcraft or Warcraft, whatever, is cool. But
it's super cool.
Yeah, right? Like I guess the movie wasn't great. I thought it was interesting enough to be like, I can see myself getting into this. I always like getting into, like a universe, right? Yeah. It always feels good to be part of the...
Yeah, like they didn't do a payoff. Like I like the idea of kind of where they were going, and it's been actually in my queue for a while to go back and rewatch it just so I can kind of remember.
Let's watch it at Kyle's, dude.
There you go.
Oh, wait, we can't anymore.
Big sound bar or whatever.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
What was I going to say? But like the thing is, the thing that makes a lot of the Warcraft stuff so cool is all like the intro stuff with all like the demons and the gods and the Sargeus or Sargis or whatever his name is. And like it's crazy because there's always like that next bad guy that's bigger than the previous one. So like throughout certain campaigns and stuff, you're like, oh, this is like the big bad demon. And meanwhile, there's like 3 other dudes that this demon's like terrified of, stuff like that.
Right, yeah.
Like it gets hard to kind of...
is there a lot of like power scaling? Kind of...
There's like a definite okay, like because I think the Titan, I think it was Sargeus or something. Somebody was.
You could say whatever you want. I wouldn't know the difference.
But he was like a Titan, and it was like I'm bringing life and balance and everything to the world and stuff like that. And like he eventually saw evil. Yeah. I'm watering this down. There's a lot more to it, but like he finally saw evil, and then was just like, okay, well, like what's the point? And then he's just straight chaos. Like I'm just going to destroy everything then because life is meaningless type of thing.
Yeah, that sounds like what you would do with infinite power.
Yeah, like eventually you're just like, what? Why bother?
Yeah,
you know,
right. But you kind of are bothering by destroying because that's
I guess
if you were really like, why bother? Apathetic, you just do nothing.
This isn't an accurate comparison, but think like like Superman, where it's like, okay, you're not good, I'll force you to be good, type of thing.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of where it started,
Superman?
and then it like
bad Superman,
and then like kind of backslid into just like, well, even if you try to be good, you're not going to be as good as me, so I'm just going to murder you.
Kind of like, not kind of like. I was going to say kind of like Homelander, but no, Homelander is actually just a psychopath.
I don't know where, because World of Warcraft. I'm definitely not up on the World of Warcraft lore. I know they started playing with like timey-wimey stuff where they're like, oh, we're going to go back in time. We're going to bring, Hellscream's son in and all this other stuff. And it's like, all right.
You get a little,
it's a little gray there.
Yeah.
I did win a cheeseburger off of Kyle with that, though. He was pretty set on that his son was in Warcraft 3. And I was like,
no way. You're not going to win a Warcraft 3 bet with Tyler.
Kyle has a Warcraft 3 collection edition.
True, but
yeah,
I mean, you guys are both kind of on equal footing there, right?
Well, every time I think I'm on an equal footing with Kyle, like I feel like I just get steamrolled. Like he's so much more passionate about stuff than I am. I feel like that with anything.
He's a big Blizzard guy, though.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Right. I think, and I've been learning about this more and more, is like whenever I think I'm like good at something, I've now, instead of trying to flaunt it with people, now I'm trying to keep it to myself. Because the moment I realize I'm not nearly as good as I think I am, then I hate the thing. So
you get humbled.
Yeah. I'd rather not be humble. I'd rather just have something that I think I'm awesome at.
So you'd rather just be ignorant than...
Yeah.
Because like you're supposed to get humbled, and then that's the motivating factor.
Nope. If I get humbled, I quit.
Yeah, that's not good. It's
not
a very
good.
unhealthy
yeah,
approach.
It's very unhealthy. So, that's where I'm at.
So, Warcraft... great universe, obviously, theoretically. So
yes.
I hear.
I think it's better than Diablo and StarCraft, personally.
Oh yeah, definitely better than Diablo because none of Diablo's matters. So I'm told. So it's like kind of crazy, you know? What I mean?
Yeah.
Like if it was actually good, you probably want people to see it.
Diablo's is interesting, but I don't care about it.
Really?
Yeah.
And then StarCraft is like kind of
the same thing. Like I just don't care. It gets wacky.
It does like it's like how. I feel like an MMO, right, is a better format to be able to expand on the lore, right? Like that's like one of the best formats, one might say.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think you can quite get the narrative across as well as like a single player game, of course, but like compared to like an RTS or like a what would Diablo be considered, like a dungeon crawler,
action RPG,
yeah. Right? I mean, you could do good stuff with action RPG, but I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say though?
Yeah, I think with MMOs, though, it's more of you can... The problem with MMOs is anything small scale doesn't matter.
Right.
So, like, if you try to introduce something that's, like, quiet or do these things, like, typically it doesn't matter.
No.
You always have to, like, Deathwing comes in and just levels this entire city or
that's
something.
What I'm talking
like
about, like the
big.
Power scaling, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just crazier and crazier. And
yeah.
No, that's a good point. But
and
when
you
it
run
comes
out of ideas and then go back in time, like that's
and re-release the first.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I guess what I'm saying is like in terms of world building, you can't have a better format than an MMO, right? Like that's literally designed to be able to flesh out the whole world. It's very macro sense, like you said, for sure. Mm-hmm. But I mean, that's the purpose of an MMO, right?
Yeah, but it also depends on how much power you give the players and how much power you keep for yourself. Which I think we've talked about before, but it would just be like if you have players that are actively changing things in the world or you know, like they're the ones shaping it, then I think that's better. Player housing, cities, whatever. But
no, I totally agree. And I think in a perfect world, in my perfect world, when I'm Flooble and I create the MMO, it's like the lore isn't really there, and the players kind of make the lore. You know what I mean? So like a Leroy Jenkins situation, which, to be fair, does happen in Warcraft because like we know who Leroy Jenkins is, right? Yeah. And he's like immortalized. But like that would be like the lore, you know what I mean? So like you would look back 10 years and new players of the game would be like, that's kind of stuff would be in the game. Like some of the NPCs would be talking about some of those like craziest things that happen. You know what I mean?
I just like the idea of, even if the developer has like a vision for X, if the player base is like, no, we want Y.
Yeah, just go with it.
Then, for them to be able to actually change it. I know I always go back to Star Wars Galaxies, but
it's the best game of all time.
You can have planets that are like, oh, this is a rebel, like Alliance planet.
Yeah.
And players literally were like, okay, here are the 2 capital cities on this planet, right? Like these 2 big major cities.
Right.
And then they would just make imperial cities like just surrounding it. And eventually it's like, all right, well, I guess these are Imperials then.
Yeah.
Because like you never see rebels there because no rebel's going to go to that city.
Yeah.
So even though like technically it's like flying rebel flags and things like that, like the only people in that city are Imperial. And it's just kind of that cool, like, what can you do at that point? It's just like you gave them the tools.
To me, at that point, it's like a fake city, like it's all corrupted. And, you know what I mean?
But like
which
that's
cool.
you're making that lore, and I think that's awesome. Like I think World of Warcraft does it. Probably just because it's been around forever. But like whenever someone big in the community passes away or like XYZ, they always have some sort of like memorial thing put in the game,
right?
Which I think is super cool.
No, yeah. I think that's kind of stuff does exist in WoW. And look, I'm not an expert at all. One of my favorite stories, actually, and I'm going to totally butcher this, so I apologize to any.
Is it the red shirt guy?
No, it's something about. Like I said, I haven't heard this story in forever. I don't even know the legitimacy of it and like the details, but essentially there was this dungeon.
Like a great start for a story,
dude. It was so cool to me because like essentially, I think there's this dungeon or something where there's this one effect where you could get infected. And then, like, if you were near another player, they would get the debuff and start dying and stuff.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
So anyways, it was in a dungeon, right?
Yeah.
So someone got infected with it, but was using, like, their Hearthstone at the same time or something to go back to, like, the capital. So they still had the debuff. So this plague just broke out in like the capital. It started murdering everyone on the server. It was like the funniest. Yeah, I know. Yeah. So it's like I thought that was like one of the coolest things. So, anyways, I guess my point is like in my perfect MMO, like they would like they obviously like patch that and shit, right?
Sure.
Where it's like you can't let that happen.
Yeah.
But I just think it would be cool if it's like
everyone
on the server is like dead now. You're like trying to survive. You're trying to avoid.
Yeah, it turns into like a dystopian zombie apocalypse.
So that server now has like its own identity and shit. It's like totally different game.
That's the kind of stuff that would be super cool and super sick.
Right?
Yeah.
Where like the player base is like whittled. Like you have like a really hardcore MMO where like you get one character per server or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like the server's whittled down to like 20 people.
Yeah. And they've tried games like that with like Rust and stuff like that too, where it's just like,
there has to be the buy-in, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, and it's like I don't think in 2023 you can have a Star Wars Galaxy.
Probably not.
Right? Like maybe I'm wrong because like I don't know, because we see stuff like Minecraft, right, where it's really you can do whatever you want, right?
Yeah, but I would wonder like how big those things are and like what like is there a server that's just like what's the biggest server size you can do in Minecraft? Oh,
I have no idea. I'm sure there's like some pretty hardcore servers though, right?
I'm sure.
Just like,
yeah.
I don't know. It's tough to say. But if you have that buy-in, and from a developer standpoint, it's really challenging as well because it's like, okay, we want the experience to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, if you give the players too much freedom, things can get really unhealthy for the game really quickly, right?
Maybe,
right? But it's like, so I guess you have two philosophies at that point. It's like, okay, well, you guys made your bed, you're going to sleep in it, sort of deal. Or, okay, we're losing players because like the top 1% is making the experience miserable for everyone else.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's the challenge. That's the challenge.
I was thinking too, like, what happens if, you have something like a zombie apocalypse or whatever, and you know how people always like drop into a game like Rust or what, I forget what the other one's called, but like they're just naked and then someone runs up on them in like full plate body armor and they just shoot them with an AK or something.
Yeah.
So it'd be one of those things where like if you kind of have that layered effect where you have kind of like the overseer of the town and he's playing like a different game than anything else, but like those older games where it's like almost like a kind of like an RTS or kind of like almost like a Sims 4 or something, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna do like a hospital or I'm gonna do a like whatever,
right?
And there's just a waiting list of people that can get into the game, right?
Yeah.
So instead of getting dropped in the middle of a whatever, and with just naked and whatever, you actually get put into the barracks of a thriving community, right? And then you have these. So like, if you want players to be part of you, like your community, or like to bolster your ranks, like stuff like that, I think would be kind of cool, or something to like immediately like you're in, and it's not like the game giving you a tutorial. It's literally like you wake up in a bed, and it's like your commanding officer's like, all right, get up, I'm going to show you around. Like they'll take the time to do it because you're literally adding to their strength.
Yeah.
I think that could be kind of interesting and kind of cool, but I don't know. Like you would have like players that are specifically like the welcome committee and stuff, because they have that on some MMOs.
Right.
People that are like willing to help you find things and do whatever.
No, I think the ecosystem would be interesting to see how it fleshes out, right? Because here's the thing too, like whenever you create a game, you can never foresee what the optimal strategy is.
Right.
Right? Like you never see that coming. Like anyone who creates some sort of game, they never see like someone's going to break it somehow. You know what I mean? So it's so interesting. But I feel like you should just go with it instead of trying to patch it, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know anything about game design, so I'm probably wrong, but I just think it'd be interesting.
Like, I really want to jump into PlanetSide 2 and see where that's at, because that's like the 3 factions, and you're just constantly in a war to get territory. That's it.
Dude, we talked about a perfect game, dude.
Yeah.
Where it's like some of that, but like you have elements of other games where like you can be a general and it's like an RTS, or if we talk about the perfect game ever, it would be this thing where it's like probably like a sci-fi kind of thing, and there's this war going on because a lot of games are like violence based, so you have all of that.
Yeah.
So you have your RTS there, you have your first person shooter and stuff like out there.
Yeah.
But back on like your home planet, you have like your Sims. Yeah. Like you're just like you could just be like a dude.
Yeah.
Who's just part of the society.
Like space would be perfect because you could have so many different servers where everyone would still feel like they're making a difference. Because at some point the scale is like, I'm one of 1,000 people. I'm never going to be noticed by whatever.
Yeah.
And maybe there are some planets that are so big, like it does take 1,000, like 2,000 people playing the game on 2 different factions or something.
Sure.
But I like the idea of having like these small kind of like planets that like, that planet is everything to you. And it might only be like 64 people on it.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's not just 64 of your teammates. It's like you and like, 31 others, and then 32 people on the opposing side. But because it's just you 64 forever on this planet, like you could like maybe get a spaceship and leave if you wanted to or something like that. But I love the idea of not only do you know like your squad and get to know your kind of like allies, but you really start to understand the enemy team, and you really start to be like, oh, these 3 guys are like insane snipers. They're they have like their own insignia, or it's like, that'd be sick.
That'd be 100%. Cool. No, I think you need both of those types of things.
I would love to get a thing where like the game has like logic in it, where maybe depending on how you play the game, you are just awarded like titles. So instead of you picking your own title, maybe like the game just starts giving you stuff. So if you're just like these crack shot people, it'd be like, oh, we're calling you like the Hellhound Brigade, like whatever.
Yeah.
But then that's what they call you in the game, and eventually like people just get to know you and stuff.
I'm telling you, personalization is so crucial
in just life.
In life,
like, just everything.
But that extends the games. Like you want to feel like you're making an impact. You want to feel like you're specialized. I die on that hill, dude.
Yeah.
Like whenever you're playing Divinity or something,
Yeah.
right? If there's one dude who can just do everything, it just feels terrible because you're like, well, why the fuck am I here, right?
Yep.
But if it's like, if you're playing the archer and it's like, I'm the only guy who can hit this shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm playing the rogue and I'm the only guy who can steal this item and make it really easy for us to progress to the next area or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's like those types of things feel so good.
So I would take it a step further even. Like we've been playing a game called Caliber, which is a third-person kind of like tactical army military game or whatever. It's kind of like Siege-ish. I don't even want to say that, but like there's so many like different champs that have different abilities and guns and different things like that, and it's like a 4v4 setup.
Right.
I would love to see it where you make it where like a medic literally isn't going to win a gunfight.
Oh,
Like
it's almost there already,
period,
dude.
Right? Yeah, but Nate was going like 11-0 or something like that, and just like destroying people.
And that's the risky one. I'm sorry to cut you off, but that's the risky run with having so many champions.
Yeah,
right. Like you see this in League all the time, where it's just like there's always going to be optimized champions. Like one of the biggest issues with League specifically, and I don't mean to pull this back to League, but it's like the newer champion kits are always more complicated because you start to see that power scaling. Like as a developer, you're like, okay, we've already done this, we've already done that. Like you have 150 champs, you've done a lot of stuff, so it's like we need to innovate, we need it fresh, new, and it just becomes more complicated.
Yeah.
And then they're just better because you can just literally do more on those types of champions than the original. So I think it's the same for Caliber because there's like, 70
as a lot
operators, right? Like something crazy.
Classes, but
yeah. So, and there's like 20 in each class, so at least like 60.
Yeah.
Or 80, right? 2, 4, 6, 8.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think like that's the risk you run into, right? Because you don't want to be you can't have the same.
I guess what I'm saying is like, imagine if the medic couldn't, like, he didn't have a gun, right? Like, or he had a pistol, and it was just like, it was so useless, and he had to focus on healing. And like you're forcing these interactions of like make it where like the medic has to do this or the support has to shield. Or like if the medic shoots, it's not like it would almost like it doesn't do damage, but it's like he can't get healing. So the medic shooting somebody, he's basically like blocking off like chunks of health where he can't heal up or something. Like I would like something more like focused on like teamwork stuff.
Yeah.
Where like even with that game, like it might be less. Like there's less of a chance for a medic to like clutch it, but still you can't because he can heal himself. He can kind of like take a corner, So there's just like different things that I guess.
I think what you're describing is more like a Team Fortress 2, like in Overwatch.
A little bit,
right?
Yeah.
Where it's like if you pick Mercy, she can fight, but
people
not
made
really.
some really good fighting Mercies, and same with the medic, where it's like suddenly he's like running around the bone saw, just murdering everybody. So like people break the game, but that's
you're always going to see that, right?
If it's in the game, yes.
I think how you counteract that is like, because I think you should be allowed.
I'm getting more confident.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I think you should be allowed to be an offensive build as a healer at the expense of your healing, like you're saying, right? Like if you do have the cool bone saw as the doctor in TF2, your healing should just be absolutely nerfed into the ground, right? Like you should just suck at healing at that point, right? So it's like a trade-off. You know what I mean? So it's like, or like a Mercy, I guess. Actually, I don't even know how do they make Mercy work as an offensive? Because you can't change your gun, right?
Hold on, I'm getting back. Wait a monologue.
I tried to monologue long enough, but I had to ask you.
Yeah, no. So I think with Mercy, I don't know if you could change your gun.
I don't think you can change your gun, right? It's just the pistol.
Yeah, but
I actually don't think you can change anything, like just the skins, right? Like I think the champs are the champs.
There was something where like it was. I mean, granted, this is back
now. Here's
with
the thing:
Overwatch
I will
1.
say a good Mercy player, yes, does switch, can put in damage.
But can't you change her like ability or something? So like instead of like rezzing the team, can't she turn into like some crazy kill? Like, don't you have like choices?
Is that the new one? Is that the new one?
No, it was the old one when this happened. So it might not even be valid
I haven't
anymore,
played Overwatch in forever.
I really want to play Overwatch.
Why?
It's installed. I want to play it. I don't know.
We were saying that Overwatch, like on paper, was like
it's awesome.
This should have been like one of my favorite games.
There were so many like plays and different things, especially when I was playing Lucio and just like knocking people off like ledges.
Yeah.
And I loved it, man. It was so much fun.
Well, dude, here's the thing again, where we've gotten to a point in society. I'm serious about this, where it's like, because think about it, we will start playing a game and we'll have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
And then suddenly the skill ceiling just fucking blows up if the game has any sort of popularity. Mm-hmm. And then you find yourself, if you're not grinding this game every night, you get left in the dust. Like Modern Warfare 2, for example, right?
Yeah, but I feel like we did all right when we played it. I mean, we lost both ranked matches, but I feel like we performed well.
I'm trying to remember. Were you playing with me?
Yeah, when we played ranked with us, Chase, and Harbin. We did 2 ranked matches.
Oh, yeah, we did. I don't like ranked on Call of Duty.
I didn't mind it. That was fun.
To me, Call of Duty will always be the casual experience.
Yeah, but even casual experience, I think.
No, I think we did fine. I'm just saying,
okay.
I'm kind of shifting my topic here, but I'm just saying in general, like the Call of Duty, like, because think about the best Call of Duty, like COD 4 or Modern Warfare 2, like the OGs, right? It's all about just the public lobby. You're trying to get the nuke. You're trying to get the AC-130.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And so, like, I guess my point is, like, when that stuff's banned, I just hate that. I hate that.
That's fair. To go back to your original point, like I look at it as like kind of a Sea of Thieves thing, where we loved Sea of Thieves when we were just dunking on anybody. Right?
Yeah.
But then you stop playing for a month and the meta changes, new things are introduced, you don't know what's going on, and then like you start sinking constantly and it feels real bad.
Right.
And then the people that are still playing are like all streamers. Right.
Yeah.
So like they're real good at it.
Yeah.
So I completely get that. But like even something like the Caliber, it's like once you hit a certain level, now suddenly like we played that one match that lasted maybe like 3 minutes and we just got like one-shotted by some dude that we had no idea what he was doing or how everything was going down. And yeah, like that's the stuff that I hate about it.
Yeah, he rolls up with a grenade launcher and one-shots everyone on the team, yeah.
Which again, like Nate was talking about it yesterday, he's like, you know, the stats on it doesn't make sense. So it's just like and this is the same thing with League, the same thing with Rainbow, the same thing with everything is like I die and I don't know what happened.
Right.
At least Call of Duty, I can be like, oh, this guy shot me in the back. Oh, cool.
I see, even with Call of Duty, like I just think the more I play that game, the less I like it, which kind of sucks.
Okay.
Well, first of all, like it doesn't work. The UI is awful.
Well, yeah, that's fair.
Which we've been saying forever. But I just think it's too much. I think they went too wide with it.
Yeah. You have to.
I don't think so. I guess maybe
for that player base, you have to look because it's your Fortnite, man. It's your Fortnite. It's your like Fortnite has so much going on with so many menus, with so many things to do. Like it's unreal. Like,
even just like the attachments, you have 8 different slots you can attach. You got a foregrip, a back grip, top, lower.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, but that's why I liked ranked because it strips out 80% of that.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm a boomer, I guess, where it's just like I like the old days where there's like 10 assault rifles, 5 snipers, and then you get like 2 attachments, or you get like one attachment per gun.
My boomer days, it was like 2 LMGs. Do you want the art?
COD 4 had like 5.
COD 4?
Yeah.
Name them.
I can't. I'll cheeseburger you though.
They had 4 or 5 LMGs.
Yeah, 4 or 5. I'll cheeseburger that. Yeah,
I don't think so. I'll cheeseburger it. All right, we're shaking right now.
Okay.
I know the RPD and the MG46 or whatever.
Yeah. There's more.
I mean, I'll take your word for it.
There's the SAW M2
in COD 4.
Yeah.
COD 4.
Yes.
All right.
Tyler.
You're probably right.
How you losing this one?
5 though. I'll give you the SAW maybe.
100%. You get it in the campaign.
That doesn't matter.
The bog one. When the tank's stuck in the bog, you get a SAW.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. I mean,
I don't know.
Get it.
You remember Sergeant
Pepper?
No. What was
Johnson?
his name? Fuck.
Probably Johnson.
He was the coolest dude. He had the cutoffs.
I bought the remake or remaster of it. Dude, when
is
are they
going to
remake? It's I don't know. I got through.
Well, they're not going to remake it because they rebooted it.
Yeah.
So that's Oh
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're not going
to touch it.
That's a shame.
They're going to touch the new ones eventually. It's a shame because those were so good, man. I still contend COD 4 might be one of the best games ever made. The campaign slaps, dude.
Yes, the campaign's fantastic, and the
amazing.
multiplayer is game
right.
Yeah.
The maps amazing.
Yeah.
The gunplay, I mean, it's just so good, dude. I don't know.
Put it in Unreal 5. Let's see it in full fidelity. Everything else is exactly the same. I don't know, but
I'm looking up the LMGs.
Yeah,
sorry.
that's fine, man. I think there are more sniper rifles than LMGs in Modern Warfare.
Okay, but that wasn't the bet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.
Boom. Less than 5. What are the 4?
I said 4 or 5.
RPD
I
saw
said 4 or 5.
MG46.
So it's our PKM.
Oh, that's
SA
in 4?
87.
Do you have a picture of them?
Yeah, M91.
Yeah, let me take a look.
MG 34.
You're sure this is Modern Warfare 1?
What the fuck? Wait. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Feel like guarding objectives. Wait, I don't even recognize any of these.
Yeah,
what the hell is going on?
Pod. I feel like something.
No. I'm very confused. Okay, this has the M249 SAW, RPD, M60E4, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But what about? I need a new list. That's
3.
Okay, I'm on the Call of Duty wiki here.
Okay.
This should be. There's only 3.
Okay. All right.
So I think you win.
Close.
I'll give that one to you.
It's pretty close.
Technically, we were in the middle, but I said 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And you said 2, but I'll give that to you. Wow, only 3. That's crazy.
Yeah.
There is the M249 SAW though.
249. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I was putting the SAW and the MG whatever
M60
is together. M60 is the one
that was the big boy.
Yeah,
that was with the big
RPD was the one that I.
Everyone knows the RPD.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you that, like, if I ever won the lottery or whatever, I just had an infinite amount of money, I'd create, like, the Men in Black style armory where it, like, opens up in my living room.
Yeah, where you just have one of every...
And then, so the left wall would be COD 4, the middle wall would be Modern Warfare 2, and then the right wall would be Modern Warfare 3.
Yeah.
Like the old OG trilogy.
You would have to figure out the size of all that stuff because I feel like it just gets bigger and bigger.
Well, it would be, like, left wall and then center wall and then...
And would you do repeats of the guns then?
I would, yeah, because... Some of the styling is different. And
but is it different in real life?
It would have to be.
Like, is the MG5 different from Modern Warfare 4 to
I think there has to be different versions of it. I'm not an expert. I know an expert, but there have to be because it's based off of real life.
Well, not this Modern Warfare 2. They just cheaped out and couldn't.
Yeah, that's crazy to me, by the way.
Can we talk about how up on you of the Microsoft Blizzard acquisition?
Is something new happen?
Yeah, the UK's like, nah, you can't do that.
What?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, enlighten me.
That's really it. So the UK is blocking it or trying to block it under the premise of if they do this, then Microsoft has an unfair advantage in the cloud gaming space.
Just in the UK.
That's who. It's the UK. I forget. I can look up the actual name of the people.
I thought it already went through.
No, people are still fighting it. You know, I'm getting there. Hold on.
I thought Microsoft already bought them. Am I crazy?
It's not official yet.
It's not official.
Yeah.
Wasn't that announced a while ago though?
That they bought them?
Yeah.
It's been almost a year. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it takes that long, I guess, the process. So
yeah, but we knew that back in the day. So like whenever it was like, okay, we're buying them, it's going to be a year before all the like FTC and all that stuff goes through it.
Yeah.
I should have brought up the article before.
You're good.
Put it away. But the UK governing body, I forget what their like the UK's version of like the Federal Trade Commission or whatever, is just like, nah, you
struck it down.
That. Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see kind of where that goes, and it's one of those like, and I don't know, have no idea how all this stuff goes out, but it's like, can they just not sell in the UK then? Can they just
yeah, exactly.
Like, okay, sorry,
if it's everywhere else,
yeah,
that would be really weird. I'm sure there's a loophole, right?
Well,
like,
the funny thing is, Nvidia, who is in the cloud gaming space, right?
Yeah,
they're the one. Like, they're just like, oh no, it'd be awesome to have Microsoft's titles on our like in the cloud.
Yeah, right.
So like
I'm sure
their competition is like, no, please put it in there.
Yeah,
but that's also because Microsoft is going. Like, if you look at all the deals they're striking, it's these 10-year deals with all these people of just like, oh, we're going to do cloud gaming with you and you and you. So they're just putting their games everywhere. So like all of these people are now just like, oh yeah, absolutely. And the only people are just like, like Sony being like, well, we want Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Call of Duty is still big. I don't know the numbers on the Modern Warfare. I know it's sold, the latest one sold well, but it's just like Call of Duty. Like, is it that big still? Like, is it that massive?
I think this one did really well, but like, comparatively to like the OG, right?
Well, the funny thing is, like, I forget what one of the arguments were, but there was like, well, Microsoft will favor their platform, so like, yeah, Call of Duty might come out on like PlayStation and stuff, but it will perform worse on PlayStation than on Xbox.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, well, I mean,
do you think the future of gaming is the free to play model? Where
I sure hope not, man. Probably.
Yeah, but like you think of like the biggest successes, like Fortnite.
Yeah. Here's the thing with the free to play model.
Or is Fortnite like an exception? Like, are there any other prominent example? Like League obviously did well.
No, League did well. Fortnite did well. Genshin Impact did well.
Well, that's
what?
Genshin Impact's, that's like gotcha gaming,
Yeah, well, whatever. You got it.
So it
did well.
That's a problem. That's a problem.
A lot of MMOs did well. So the one good thing I can say about that,
okay,
they're kept on their toes and they have to continuously come out with stuff. Otherwise, your game's dead.
Right.
So if nothing else, you have to be continuously working on it. It has to be running well. It has to be like everyone has to be flocking to it. So all these games that are coming out just absolutely busted, and maybe it solves for that.
Yeah.
Like if Battlefield came out and it was free to play, which I think was a rumor at one point, maybe it would still be on because people didn't pay $70 for the game and then got burned, and then just out of principle is like, we're not Yeah, it can be running perfectly fine right now. Screw you.
I'll never buy it. I think. Well, here's the issue you run into is no more sequels, right?
Yeah,
you just have like the game,
right?
That's continuously updated.
Yeah, but like good, right? Like I don't know. I mean, sequels haven't been. I mean, obviously Jedi Survivor just came out, and we could maybe talk a little bit about it. But like, are sequels so much better for that kind of stuff? Like, is Modern Warfare 2 that much better than Modern Warfare 1? Could you not have just done an expansion for Modern Warfare 1? Like, I don't think the graphics are like that much better, if at all. Like, I'm sure it's using the same engine.
If you have a campaign of sorts.
Yeah, but can't that be like a standalone, like, hey, here's your $20 campaign if you even want the campaign? Otherwise,
you're never going to see a return on investment if that's the case, unless the campaign sucks.
Well, I thought we were talking about free-to-play stuff, right? So, like, it's like, okay, if you want to do free-to-play, and then if you want to add on, like, extra content or something.
Does the model for something like Call of Duty work for free-to-play, though? Because they're so limited. Like, here's the thing. I actually kind of hate the new Call of Duty, and again, very boomerish. Like, all the skins and stuff, like, people running around in Easter Bunny outfits and fucking Santa Claus and shit. I hate that.
Yeah.
While Call of Duty has never been like the hyper-realistic, like, Battlefield, shit, it's still, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like, war, and, like, we're supposed to be, like, Marines or whatever, and, like, when I see that shit, and I see, like, MLG costumes, I hate it. Just takes me right out of it.
And the crazy thing is you can't turn it off.
Yes.
Because otherwise people wouldn't buy the costumes. Wouldn't buy it. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
It just sucks. It's just, I hate that.
I'm right there with you with that. But then
like
you
something
can't have
like
it both ways. You
Fortnite.
Yeah.
Where it's not realistic at all. It's totally fantasy. That's cool.
Yeah. Like I think
it's hilarious.
I want Aloy doing the
I want Aloy
dribble dance.
Yeah, or shooting a Kamehameha.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, that's crazy. Yeah. So I don't know. Like something like that, it works perfectly. Call of Duty, I just don't think the free to play model, you can do gun skins, but I think like for COD specifically, the gun skins have always been achievement based.
Yeah, but wasn't COD like? Maybe I'm making this up. Like, didn't they have it where it was like map packs, right? So
yeah.
You can buy map packs and like that's where they get their money. I don't
think those ever sold well. I don't think those ever sold.
Yeah, but those were some of the greatest maps though. Like they had some,
Really?
Like, yeah.
I don't think so.
for Modern Warfare 2, whenever it was like, hey, here's all of Modern Warfare 1 maps.
Okay.
Stuff like that. Like, I mean, granted.
I think that was free. Like, I remember Shipyard was like free.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm.
And then like in MW3, Terminal was free. 100%.
Yeah, maybe.
They were like, remember this? Remember when this was good?
Remember Dome?
Love Dome. We got wrecked, but I love Dome. Map. No. Back in the day, if I had the M4 from MW3, that's a different game. I run that game over, dude.
Right,
if I have Stalker, M4, dude. Oh my God, it's over.
I'll tell you, man. It was fine.
Over.
It looked old.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't even look like it was like remastered. It was like, hey, this is Modern Warfare 3. We just dropped it in.
I loved it.
Low poly.
MW3 was good. It wasn't as good as the other ones, but it was nostalgia for me.
What's coming out? I mean, we have Redfall coming out. That might be something.
I guess. I'm not excited for it, but
it's Game Pass.
Well, yeah, I'm going to play it.
Yeah.
But
you know what runs really, really well? Oh, here's another thing I played was Dead Island 2.
Heard that sucked.
75. Most middle game ever.
Really?
But it runs flawless.
Really?
It runs so good.
Wow.
Fully maxed. Just butter. Yeah.
But
and not enough people are talking about it.
It's not fun.
It's that's the problem. Like, when can we get a fun game that also runs well? Why does it have to be one or the other? Why can it be like runs really, really good? It is just like boring. Funny, but boring. And I'm just like, I don't want to bash zombies.
Dude, I was telling you, like, when we were talking about what games we're going to play this year, I had zero interest in that game. Mm-hmm. Just none.
In the Dead Island?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I played the first one. I didn't even have a good time with that. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was so boring.
I shouldn't have bought it, but it was one of those, like, I'm just trying to really make a point to play as many new stuff as I can.
And that's the challenge I'm having, where it's like, I really do want to play all these things so we can discuss them, but it's like, it's not worth the money, dude.
They're
like,
very expensive. Well, so Dead Island, I had some credit, and I bought it off of, because it was Epic exclusive. So I got it for maybe like half price. So it's like, sure. Even half price, is it worth it? Probably not with everything else coming out.
Well, think about it. If we play the best games this year, which is like, I don't know, let's say
all
like
remasters,
8 games. Well, yeah, right. That's the era we live in. We have no new ideas.
The 2 best games we played are Dead Space and freaking Resident Evil. I'll give you Hi-Fi Rush, but like
Hi-Fi was good.
It was very good. But
it's either indie, or remaster.
Yes, that's cool.
Name the last AAA. Like unique or not unique, but like new, fresh property.
Yep,
that's been good.
Do we count? Which maybe we talk about this a little later, but like, do we count the expansions like Horizon?
Have you played that?
Not yet. No,
me neither.
Yeah,
it has like an 80 on OpenCritic.
Yeah,
which is really weird because I was reading the reviews and it was like, just more of the good stuff. It's like, if you liked Forbidden West, you're gonna love this. So it was like weird because it was like Forbidden West was awesome. So if this is just more of that, like,
but
maybe the story doesn't matter.
I went too hard on Forbidden West. That was the problem.
Really?
Is like I 100%ed it, and now it's like, and I had this problem with the first game where it's like the expansion comes out 6 months later after I beat it. Well, more like 3 months later after I beat it, and I'm just like, do I really want to just jump back into that and then like grind all those it might be awesome, but it's just like I don't.
Well, don't you just continue from where you're at? Yeah. So I don't get. What do you mean?
I don't know. I don't know if because there was some form of closure where it's like I did everything you can possibly do in this game.
Yeah,
like maxed out all of the challenges, maxed out like it's just every campfire.
Yeah,
done.
Wow,
right?
That's awesome.
So it's like it's 100%ed, and now just to do more stuff on top of it, it's like. Seems like a lot of work, and I loved it, but at the same time, it's like there's so much other new stuff that I don't know if that's.
Well, wouldn't you just? I don't know. It's like a new area that you just can complete. I guess I'm not understanding why. You just want to be done with it.
I think it's like whenever I binged like Assassin's Creed Brotherhood and. What was it? Two Brotherhood, and then like Revelations came out right after, and I'm just like, I can't do another one of these.
Yeah, too much is at once. But it's been 6 months, so it's like, didn't you get enough of a break?
No, because I finished it. I think
I'm itching to get back into it.
I finished Horizon this year, didn't I? Or maybe I finished it right in December.
I can't remember. Yeah, actually, no, because you were talking about it last year. Oh no, you weren't.
No, I wasn't because we missed it.
I was talking about it. I was defending it.
That is
during
my favorite
game
of 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah, easy. Not even close.
See, that's why this year we got to make sure.
I know, that's what I'm telling you.
All the ducks in a row.
So is Horizon, does that count? Like almost like a smaller version of a game that's already...
We have a category that's specific to games that did not come out this year that I played.
No, I know that, but what I mean is the expansion. So like, do we count the expansion in with everything else?
I think but we should have a section.
Remasters.
Well, yeah, it's a new game.
Okay, all right. Well, remaster or remake?
Well, I mean, what are we talking about?
I don't know. That's what we got. That's what we got to decide. We
Resident
don't have to decide
Evil
that now, but
counts as a new game.
That's a remake. Dead Space remake.
Yes,
I would
100%.
argue Metroid Prime is a remaster because it's like 1-for-1, but maybe I'm wrong.
I haven't played it. I mean, that's up to you.
It's not.
I've never played any.
Metroid Prime is a bad game.
So it is still highest rated on OpenCritic.
Still a bad game,
dude. This is what I hate about that, and I complain about this every fucking episode.
Yeah,
but it's like, and here's the thing too. So remember, I wanted to play 8-Bit Adventures 2?
Yeah,
or Octopath Traveler 2?
Yeah.
8-Bit Adventures 2 has a super high rating with 8 reviews.
Oh, it's only 8?
Right. And Octopath Traveler 2 has like 80 and a couple points lower. So I'm like, to me, it's so much more impressive to have the more critics.
10 times
the higher,
the amount
right.
Yeah.
But I will say Metroid has a ton of critics.
Yeah,
so
no, everyone
loves
it. It's the Zelda of space. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've never played them. But
that's the other thing. Like, Zelda comes out this year, which I gotta play Zelda.
I feel like you have to count that Metroid?
Yeah, probably.
I guess. I don't know.
Probably. It's not.
Here's what I'll say.
Make it. I don't care.
So a couple years ago, I remember the top thing on OpenCritic was Final Fantasy 14. Is that the MMO?
Yeah.
Like an expansion.
Yeah.
Like obviously an expansion, right?
Yeah.
That's not a new game.
Right, but that's literally what Horizon is.
That's what I'm saying. So that should not count.
So you're saying Horizon for Fire Shores or whatever it is. Like that's not.
I think we can do a separate conversation about expansions, DLC,
sure,
right?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Let's put it like if we do a category that's like best moment in a video game and it happens to be in Horizon, I feel like that counts.
Yeah,
it's fair.
Well, then you start opening a can of worms.
Why?
So, because it's like okay, best character this year.
Yeah, I think that's
like,
all.
So that's open. That's on the table.
But it can't get Game of the Year because it's not a standalone game. Maybe that's
all
it.
Right.
Maybe it has to be sold by itself. If you buy just that, so like Miles Morales counted because it was its standalone title.
Yeah,
it wasn't a continuation of the game.
Wasn't going to win though.
I haven't played it. I bought it. I own it. Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
Whatever.
Yeah, nothing new. It's coming out.
What are we talking about? Okay, so Redfall.
Redfall is
next.
Out.
That's Tuesday.
But you played Jedi Survivor.
I played a little bit of Jedi Survivor. So I started it this morning. Played it for maybe 2.5 hours, enough so I can't return it. It's fine. It got crucified on like the social medias and things like that about how bad the performance is. And then you told me that Digital Foundry has a video out, which I haven't seen yet, saying how terrible it is. I will say that all of the cutscenes are very jittery. There are definitely certain areas that have like slowdown. Anywhere that there's like fog or like sparks and things like that. I will say also, however, that I have everything maxed out. The only thing I don't have on, two things I don't have on is ray tracing and the motion blur. I turn off motion blur constantly just because I hate that effect personally. So that's kind of like a non-issue for me. But like, yeah, I turn off ray tracing. But everything else, like the combat is like smooth enough. I just feel like it's not as responsive as I would like it to be.
Okay. How far are you in it? How long? You like
I got
more than
like,
2 hours. Yeah.
I got through like the first area. I think I beat like your first like
mini boss.
quote unquote boss. Yeah.
It has an 86 on OpenCritic.
Yeah.
Which is very good.
Everyone says it's like, here's the thing I don't understand.
So is that PlayStation? People were
PlayStation. Well, no, because even PC people were like even I think it was like PC Gamer or something.
Yeah,
they still gave it like an 80 or something or
PC
higher.
80. Yeah.
But they're just like, oh, the performance is abysmal, but everything else is great. It's like, okay, but like if you can't play the game,
right? Right.
How can you possibly give it to
Here's
them?
what I don't understand. So how does something like Cyberpunk get destroyed?
Because it's nowhere near as bad as Cyberpunk was.
Okay.
It's like that's what I'm saying. Is
I
like
gotcha. So it's still playable.
For as big as an issue it is, and it's like, this is a $70 game, right? So like there is that aspect to it where it's like, dude, why did this even come out like this? Like all the reviewers had really crappy copies of it, and then they were told like, oh, day one patch that'll fix all of it.
Right.
Nothing's fixed, right? So it's just like, all right, well, so to be fair, your computer would run it fine, right? So like you would have some stuttering as like the movies are going and stuff like that, but like nothing that I think is like egregious. And the gameplay itself was fine, but again, it's like these are the people from like Titanfall and like just like really slick, perfect, smooth, like. I don't know. I mean, it does look way better than the first game, like shockingly better to the point of like they show cutscenes from the first game to like lead you up into the second game of just like, hey, previously on Jedi, whatever.
Right.
And I was like, oh, this looks like.
So they redid the first.
No, they took cutscenes from the first.
I see.
And they blurred some stuff out a little bit, so it's like you're almost like watching a hologram. And they put like a blur filter on it, so it smooths some of like the imperfections out.
Right.
But you're watching this and it like zooms in. So it's like you're watching a hologram, but it's taking up your entire thing. And then when you finally pull back the hologram and you're back into like Jedi Survivor, everything looks like uber crisp and uber good. It's
that's
like,
kind of slick.
I was like, okay, like that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I think I don't like the guy that plays Cal Kestis typically. Like he's fine, he's a good actor and everything. I just don't care for him as a character.
Yeah.
But like voice acting's great. Like all the acting's like, and like they're real subtle. Like they're not super over the top. And it's funny because we just got off of Resident Evil where like everyone is like, and that's the style of Resident Evil, so take it with a grain of salt. But like everyone's like super bombastic and everything like this. But like these guys are like almost whispering, like they're almost just acting like they're in a movie, and I really appreciate that. It gives me like Uncharted vibes a little bit, where they're just acting normally.
Yeah.
So far it's good. I still don't care for the style of. I don't like Dark Souls. That's my only issue.
Yeah. Right.
I'm playing on like the standard difficulty. I'll probably drop that sucker down before the end of the game.
Yeah. Right. Just put it on easy and just feel like a god.
Yeah. I mean. Well, even then, you don't really feel like God because you're hitting things and they're just like you're like sort of bouncing off them.
Yeah, so I guess you like kind of like a Force Unleashed kind of deal.
That's what I want. That's all I care about.
Destroy like a God of War type, original God of War.
Just melt people.
Yeah. That probably makes more sense in terms of like the lore aspect of it, right?
Yeah, I'm
unless Cal Kestis just sucks.
I already like him more in this game than the other one. Yeah. I still think the first game had a better opening though, where you have like that
train,
the music. Well, the train was awesome. This one's not too bad. Like it's actually pretty decent. Like it gets you involved pretty quickly. But yeah, I don't
remember a lot about him and from the first one because it's been like 4 years,
dude. Even the recap of the video, I still don't know what happened.
Yeah, I can't remember like the story at all. I just
like they show
solid game.
They show this chick with like one of the Night Sisters. No memory of her at all.
I remember her.
I don't. I don't even. And like that's supposed to be like a love interest or something. Like they're kind of alluding to that. I'm like, I have no clue who this person is.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I don't know, dude. I haven't gotten it yet because I heard like performance issues, and then I always that always stops me. Like
you would be able to play it, but is it worth the money to kind of give EA money to say, oh yeah, you put this out half made, but that's fine.
I'm still trying to catch up on the things I'm playing, so I figure like just give it some time for it to develop. Because that's what I did for Cyberpunk, and my experience was so much better for it. Right?
Yeah.
Instead of just trying to force myself to do it right out of the gate, and then potentially my enjoyment of the game is hurt by that.
Yeah,
dude. Even if there's stuttering, like slight stuttering in cutscenes, man, that just, especially in a game like that, takes me right out of it, bro.
Well, especially when a game like, and this isn't anywhere close to Dark Souls, but like, I mean, you need some timing.
Yeah.
Like you have to parry things, you have to see things.
Yeah,
so like if
yeah.
somebody's coming at you and they stutter and like you hit a button and like your button doesn't feel like it's like there's like a split second between movements, like that feels bad. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
And like I'm sorry, I understand if you want to make the argument in Dark Souls where you're swinging a giant metal sword, so it takes some time to wind up. It's like it's a lightsaber. It's made of light. Like it should be nothing. It should be the easiest, simplest thing. It shouldn't take.
Well, there's a difference between like momentum and like
Yeah, but it's like
and stuttering,
it's weightlessness. You know what I mean? Like,
no,
that's the
I understand
thing. Yeah.
that.
But but what I'm saying is like
response.
even the movements. Let's take stuttering out of it. It just is like, why is he taking so long?
Yeah,
and that's just gameplay where it's like, well, if you have one lightsaber, it's your all around thing, and the two lightsabers are super quick and fast, and the double bladed lightsaber is like really long and heavy, and then if you have like Kylo Ren's saber, it's like a broadsword, and he's doing these like huge sweeping things.
Yeah.
But he's acting like it's the heaviest thing in the world.
Right.
Why?
Yeah, I think I haven't played it, right? So like, grain
sure.
of salt. But like, I think in that type of game, you should just make everything just faster, right? It should just be a faster Dark Souls. You can still have the difficulty be crazy because the enemy is probably moving just as fast.
Yep.
But like, you just have like just fighting game inputs at that point where you're just mashing.
But
right?
that's exactly
and just going crazy, like
Unleashed,
like an episode 3.
Yeah,
going nuts.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That'd be cool.
I will say,
but I haven't played it. So.
It is kind of cool to like. There's like 4 stormtroopers or whatever. And like the first one, you like Jedi mind trick, so he just starts turning and firing on the other guys.
Yeah.
And then you pull another one, you're holding him there as the other guys are shooting you. You're just using it as like a shield. And then like you like stab him and like throw him on the ground, like run over, kill another guy, and then like just force push the last guy off a ledge as you just like walk all just slowly cool.
Smooth,
and he does like a little flick with his wrist and like puts his lightsaber away. That stuff's real cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So far so good. I got to the point finally where I can customize BD. Great droid. I don't know if we ever mentioned him in the top droids. We should have.
Top droids?
Yeah, when we did like top 5 droids.
Did we do top 5 droids?
I think we did.
As a top 5 list?
I think so.
No, we did not.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay.
I think we did a poll.
Oh, maybe we did a poll. Okay. Well, BD's real good.
We could do a top 5 droid list sometime.
That'd be fun.
That would be fun.
Maybe top 5 just robots in general.
Top 5 robots.
Yeah.
Isn't there a difference between a robot and a droid?
Yeah, one you have to pay Lucas royalties, and the other one you don't.
True.
Yeah. Anyway,
top 5 robots.
Overall, it was good. I played
good.
it a little bit. Yeah.
No, I'm excited to play it. I think it'll be good. But yeah, so you think Resident Evil is front runner right now?
For me personally,
yeah.
No, I would probably still give it to Hi-Fi Rush.
But you had Resident Evil a higher score.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. Which that just shows you where I weight things.
Well, you've always been like a indie kind of dude. Yeah.
I like new stuff, man.
Yeah.
Like Hi-Fi Rush is at least net new. Resident Evil, like if nothing, like honestly, the most impressive thing about Resident Evil is they didn't botch it.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a good. You took a stellar masterpiece of a game and brought it into the new decade. Like,
yeah, but you really enjoyed Resident Evil 2.
Because it was completely different.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 4 isn't that different. Like, it's different. Like, don't get me wrong. It's different. They did a very good job with it. It's a masterpiece of a game. Go play that game. But they didn't take a, like, isometric, static camera game and suddenly turn it into a Resident Evil 4 type and, like, made it a better game than Resident Evil 2. Like, I don't know. It was like, hey, here's a trophy. Polish it up and keep holding that trophy of a great game.
Right.
Where at least Hi-Fi Rush is like, hey, let's try a bunch of new stuff and see how it goes. Oh, by the way, all the characters are hilarious and great, and the story's actually decent. Like,
yeah,
it was just more of a shock, I guess.
It was a surprise too.
Yeah.
No expectations.
Right.
And then, which always factors in. Okay.
I put Dredge up there too. I think Dredge is my Tunic of 2023 so far.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, you're never going to play it, but I'm just saying it's good. It's very good.
Hogwarts is good. Talk about hype. Holy
I keep forgetting about Hogwarts. Yeah, Hogwarts is great.
I think you're sleeping on Hogwarts. It's so crazy.
Hogwarts has better combat than Jedi.
Dare I say more hype for Hogwarts than Resident Evil 4?
Yeah, probably.
Now, like just video game players, yeah, Resident Evil 4, obviously, but like the world,
Yeah, like people like I feel like
I mean, Chelsea
the
hyped for it. You know what I mean?
How do you what are they? The Potterheads?
Potterheads, yeah.
Yeah, they're. I mean, people that don't normally play games. Or
Exactly.
play
That's like a huge.
I mean, let's be real.
Wow.
Unless Blizzard drops the ball completely
On what?
on Diablo 4, like game over.
Oh, you think Diablo 4 is going to take it?
For me, yeah,
No.
we'll see. We'll see.
I'm kind of burned on Diablo, but
Yeah, well, look,
maybe
man.
I'm a little
Yeah,
biased.
That's all right.
Hey, I told you, I'm going to go into it, try to reset the mental.
We will hide.
I'm
we'll
going to
show off.
I'm going to watch another 2-hour video on all the lore.
Whatever you watch, send my way, and I'll watch it too.
It's going to be the best
All right.
version of the recap
Yeah.
possible. I'm sure there's got to be a lot of content coming out because, in preparation.
Dude, there was like a 3-hour video on just the Angels.
Jesus
Like,
Christ. Okay, I'm not going to watch
you
3-hour
need-
video
you
on the
need-
Angels.
yeah.
I need a more condensed version.
You definitely need
But it's
something.
going to be longer than just a 5-minute recap. It's going to be like
Yeah.
a nice, healthy
Yeah.
recap.
Get all
What
the
do I need to do?
Nephilim and Sanctuary and everything.
Dude, there's just no way I'm going to care about any of this shit. I'm going to try.
Shouldn't.
I'm going to try,
Yeah.
though.
I don't know. I don't.
Well, think about it. You don't even play the game for the lore. You play it for the
I
end
don't
game.
care about the game at all.
Which is totally the opposite of you as a person. So I
know.
just don't understand that.
Everyone needs that warm.
It's your league.
Yeah.
I
would say that.
It's your mom's pudding. You come back to.
Okay. Yep.
I don't know.
Sure.
Right? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's the home meal. It's the.
Yeah.
I always come back to it.
Yep.
I know it's not the healthiest for me,
Mom's
but
meatloaf.
meatloaf.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of meatloaf.
I know. That's all right.
Is it actually meatloaf? Like you'd
mom's
say your
meatloaf?
mom,
Yeah.
your mom
Yeah.
makes, and that's like the.
Yeah.
I always call it the ratatouille
It would either be the meatloaf or it would be her pecan pie. Would be the
because,
two.
like, you remember the scene in Ratatouille where the guy is
I
like,
only watched Ratatouille once on a plane, so I don't think I've ever seen it.
one of the most underrated movies of all time.
It's better than Finding Nemo.
So, anyways, in Ratatouille, it's like the mean guy, the critic. He's about to destroy this meal.
Yeah.
He's going to like write a terrible review, but he eats it and then he gets flashback to his mom cooking.
Yeah.
So that's your pecan pie, your meatloaf.
Yeah, I'd say that.
Yeah. Okay.
Diablo 3.
Diablo 3.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm just saying, I think Diablo 3 or Diablo 4. Like, I'm building a keyboard specifically for Diablo 4.
I was going to send you this video of, but you've never seen American Psycho.
No.
There's this scene in American Psycho. I should make you watch American Psycho, like, as your next assignment.
You could do that.
The movie's like, it's so, I don't even know how to describe it. You should just watch it. I don't even want to spoil it. But anyways.
I don't like scary movies.
It's not. It's like a thriller.
Yeah. That's just
Thrillers are way better than, but it's not though. It's like
thrillers are just scary movies that could actually happen in real life, which makes them scarier.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's why I like them.
Yeah, that's literally why I don't like them.
Oh, I don't know, dude. I love.
I mean, if you
thrillers.
tell me to watch, I'll watch it. Like, I think 7's kind of creepy.
7's great though.
Yeah.
It's top 10.
Well,
The acting's so good. The story's so good.
I'd
Twists
give
and
it
turns.
top 70.
I'm telling you, my heart was racing. I was sweating.
Yeah,
Well, the first time I watched that movie, it's one of the best experiences I've ever had watching a movie. It
that's awesome.
was like 3 a.m. I'm like, what's in the fucking box? Like, everyone knows. But you're like, oh, man. Brad Pitt. Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
So good.
Kevin Spacey.
You don't want to be a cop. Watch that
Spevin-
movie.
Spevin
Holy
Casey.
shit. That makes you not want to be a cop.
No.
That makes you not want to live in a city.
No. I just don't want
What, anything to
just
do with
watch a Hangover or something.
that might be one of the best villains of all time. John Doe.
Yeah.
Really?
Here's the thing. I feel like if you're a good villain, you need to be like front and center. Like, you need
No.
to steal the show.
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
The intrigue, the mystery, like who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
And then seeing, I don't know, less is more in that, where you like seeing the behind the scenes, you see his notebook, just fucking this guy's cracked out of his mind.
Yeah, but you're saying that's better than like Joker?
It's different. It's different.
Yeah, it's different. I just think that
I don't think you have to be flashy. I don't think you have to steal the show necessarily. I think sometimes less is more.
Yeah,
right?
I just think that if I start throwing out villains like Joker, Thanos, Barbosa.
Barbosa is okay.
Yeah, I mean he's
top
super
10?
into it. I'm not saying necessarily top 10, but I don't think John Doe's top 10.
I think there's a conversation to be had there.
Okay.
Memorable.
Memorable for sure, but
dude,
top
one of the best plays of all time. One of the best plays.
Sure, but top 10?
It was an insane play, dude. He played everyone.
What your top 10 movies?
Yeah.
So it'd be like Saving Private Ryan.
Right. Who Hitler's the bad guy.
Hitler is probably.
But I double dip because I also have Inglourious Bastards where Hitler is also the bad guy.
Yeah.
But actually the bad guy is the detective.
Yeah. Well,
he's top 10.
The detective?
Oh yeah.
In
Inglourious Bastards. The Nazi detective.
Oh, Christoph
the Jew
Waltz.
hunter. Christoph Waltz. Yeah. He's top 10.
But that's what I'm saying. But
that's performance.
But he's front and center. He steals the show. Like I get
Look,
it.
I'm not saying you can't steal the show. That's top 10. The first scene, that's top 10, dude.
I know.
That's one of the best opening scenes of all time.
But that's what I'm saying. So like that outweighs 7.
Okay, so if I go through my top 10 movie list, okay, I'll show you who the bad guys are. Give me a second.
Adolf Hitler.
But he's
I don't
not
like
even
putting him in a top 10 list, but like Nazi Germany.
Yeah, but like Saving Private Ryan, it's like you don't even see Hitler, do you?
No.
So it's like that's not the bad guy. There is no bad guy. Like the bad guy is the German army.
Yeah.
So you can't put that top.
It's a pretty crazy top. Like
but that's not a character.
I agree with you, but then I put that as the same as like John Doe.
But it's a guy. That is a character.
Well, it's an ideal.
But that's the beauty of it. This one dude represents this crazy shit.
Yeah.
That's like doesn't make sense at all, but it kind of makes sense.
Well, what about
but doesn't really?
What about the
He's just crazy?
Jack Nicholson from Departed?
Yeah, so
he's crazy.
He is crazy. I think John Doe's a better villain than him. Right?
I don't know.
Departed's fantastic.
Yeah.
And my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's like the best villain. To me,
I don't know.
The beauty of that movie is the two main characters, like Matt Damon and Leo.
Yeah.
That's the real magic of that movie.
So Matt Damon's the bad guy.
Well, it depends on your perspective. I mean, I don't know.
Well,
I guess
one's
Matt Damon's
the mob and one is the cop. Like I feel
some people root for the mob. I don't know.
Let's call. Well, here, let's put it this way. Sure, depending on your perspective, if you're for Matt Damon, Leo is still a better villain than.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And then if you're for Leo, Matt Damon's really good.
Everyone hates Matt. He's one of those characters where everyone hates him.
Yeah.
And that's a really good character. Yeah.
Joffrey is way more wicked and terrible than anything. Like there's 6 bad guys.
But just
in Game
because
of Thrones.
you're worse of a person doesn't mean that
acting wise,
you think he's better?
On screen more. Yeah.
He's better than Matt Damon?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, sure. Like he does the job more than Matt Damon I think does, but Matt Damon's a better actor.
Matt Damon is the better actor. Matt Damon's so good, dude.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorites. I cannot find this list for the life of me. Oh, here it is. All right, so you have Departed, which bad guys like.
Sure.
And debatable who it even is.
Yeah.
And then you have Good Will Hunting, where the bad guys...
What's the bad...
The bad guy's like himself, I guess, right?
Okay. I don't know.
Me neither. I don't know.
I never saw it.
You've never seen... we have this conversation every fucking time. 7. John Doe's great.
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction... The bad guy's like
the diner.
Wait a minute. Like who's the fuck's the bad guy? I don't even know.
Yeah, there's so many bad guys and they're all better than John Doe.
No, because there isn't really a bad guy in the movie.
2 people in the diner scene.
They're like the main character. Like, okay, the craziness of that movie is like it's from everyone's perspective, so everyone's like the main character.
Yeah. And the bad
They're not
people
the bad
are
guy.
still
They're not the bad guy. Is Jules the bad guy?
Could be.
He's like the protagonist, kind of.
Is that who's that?
Samuel L. Jackson.
That's Jules?
Yeah. Is he the bad guy? Because he's like the
I don't
hitman.
I mean, he has more quotes than John Doe does.
God, I love that movie.
Yeah.
The diner scene is like one of my favorite scenes of all time. You talk about monologues.
Yeah.
The whole thing. So like everyone talks about the one at the beginning where he's like quoting the Bible or whatever, Ezekiel. That's great. Don't get me wrong.
It's overdone though. Yeah.
I guess. But the better one is at the end. Where he's like
in the car?
No, at the end where the couple is trying to rob the diner.
Oh, yeah.
And then he's there and he fucks him up. And he's got the gun in his face, and he's like talking about how he's trying to be better and shit.
Yeah.
That's so good. The way he delivers that, amazing.
Yeah, and he's a bad guy. He kills people.
Nah, he's not a bad guy. Shutter Island, who's the bad guy? I guess schizophrenia is the bad guy there. That's a powerful one.
It all depends on...
Yeah, do you think it's real? I don't even know.
I don't think it's real. I think he's just
No,
crazy.
it's all he's crazy. Yeah. Django. Oh, that's a good bad guy.
I mean, that's a great
Leo.
bad guy.
Oh, yeah, that's a fucking good bad guy.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Just say it.
Steals the show.
I feel like I'm not saying John Doe wasn't
okay.
good. I think the story is good. I don't think John Doe himself is good because he doesn't do anything.
He does do a lot.
He takes a picture and then does a monologue at the end.
It's a good monologue. It's the plan. It all came together. He played him like a fiddle.
But what I'm saying is literally anybody could be put in that role. You could be put in that role and you would do just as good of a job as
when he's
Kevin
in the
Spacey.
back of the cop car, he's talking about how fucked up everything is in society and stuff. Kevin Spacey's too good, dude. Because he's probably crazy in real life. You know what I mean? He's not even acting at that point.
I guess. I don't know.
Kevin Spacey's a great bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah. All right. What were we talking about?
I don't even know.
Video games.
Talking about video games.
I played Advance Wars. It's good.
Got like an 81.
Yeah. You ever play Advance Wars? On
No, there was this one game I played, like, it was a Flash game.
Oh.
And I think it was just a ripoff of Advance Wars because I was watching the trailer. I was like, dude, this is exactly like the game I used to play on Congregate.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's good. Like, it's literally the exact same game.
Yeah.
So the first game, unless I'm missing something, you have to beat the first game to get to the second game, which I don't like.
Okay.
But I'm doing it. I'm almost done with the first game.
What was the problem with it? Why did it get like only an 80?
I don't think they just they really didn't do anything.
Okay, just
like the first game is just like boring in comparison to the second. So I feel like people were maybe like hoping for something more, considering like all the other remake stuff.
Just add more to the second game, or
the second game had you could be other characters. So like you have a very limited pool of characters inside the first game, like during the campaign.
Okay.
Second game, you have a lot more characters, a lot more like win conditions and stuff. So like the first game, it's like either take over their base or, capture 12 cities or do whatever. So it's kind of like boring. Where the second game, which I didn't play a ton of the second game, but you have a lot more of like, I'm making this up, but like last 14 days or get this many troops or do so it's like other like kind of fun challenges to do.
Yeah.
And the maps are more intricate and they have more things to.
Is there online?
Oh yeah, there's a map creator in the thing. So
is that where it gets kind of crazy?
I played one round and spanked the guy because so I was like, okay, well,
I'm done.
it's like I got my win.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think the people that really like that game are gonna be really, really good, and the people that are just like, what is this? And then they just get stomped.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, that's good.
It's fine. It's
nice,
what I wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
I think the problem with it is other games have come out since then. Like Wargroove is a perfect example where Wargroove really didn't hit me as much because it's more like medieval-esque, like swords and shields and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a little too Fire Emblem-y.
Sure.
But like other games have come out that I'm like, this is like
it's better.
It's just old. It's like they're more unique. Like, oh, that was a cool idea.
So this is a remaster. This is a remaster.
Yes. Yeah. I should say, from what I've seen so far, I did not get to 2 yet. So the first game is exactly how I remember the first game. Like, flaws and all. Like, it was just like, oh, I can still park a tank on this bridge and cheese everything and stuff like that. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, see, I think people don't want remakes or remasters.
Yeah.
Everyone says, oh, I want a remaster. Don't touch it. I want it just like I remember. I don't think people actually want that.
It's one of those things where I really wanted Advance Wars because I really like that on the DS. So I like the fact that I could play that on my handheld. So that's what I've been like. I'll be sitting on the couch, Chelsea watch something, and I'll just kind of play it. And because there's really no story or anything, you just kind of play it and you're good. You know, like you don't have to
just a little turn your brain
volume
off.
Yeah. Well, your brain needs to stay on because it
does get kind of complicated.
It does. But yeah, as far as like, I think people were looking for like, give us a new one of these. And if you want to include all the other games, like in maps and stuff, by all means, include them. But like, give us a new campaign, or bridge the gap between the two and make one more like two and make it a little bit more seamless versus like, it's very much like Mass Effect in the way of like, pick your game. Oh, you want to play the first one? Sure, click on it. Oh, you want to play Advance Wars 2? Click on it. And
that's what you want.
No, that's what they gave us. And I would.
I thought you said you couldn't play the second one until you.
Right. So whenever you launch the game, you have 1 and 2. 2 is grayed out and says you can't play this campaign yet.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to go through 1,
that sucks.
Play it, and beat it. Yeah. So in the very, very beginning of the game, it's like, are you new to Advance Wars? Or I'm like, yeah, I'm new. I want to see what this is. And they gated a lot of stuff. So I wonder if that was why I couldn't immediately go to 2. Which, again, sucks. But
weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Anyway, it
was good. It's fun.
That's good.
Yeah.
I've been playing Octopath Traveler too.
You said you're like 40 hours in.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's a long game.
Yeah, I mean, you like, what are you on, like chapter 2 for everyone now or something? Or?
I'm on the okay. So I am playing this game as wrong as you can possibly play.
Okay, love it.
Pick the worst character to start with.
Yeah.
Do I hate her? No. I like Agnia. Okay. She's the dancer. She's the support. She's super positive. Whatever. I like those kinds of characters.
So you kept her on your roster of 4
I
people.
have to. The starting character you cannot get rid of until their thing's done.
Really?
Yep. So I'm fucked.
No.
So I'm fucked. She's great. Like in combat, she's really good. She's a really good character.
Okay.
So, but her story is fucking. What is going on?
Yeah.
So her story, spoiler alert, I guess, if anyone's gonna play it out there, she comes from a small village. She wants to be a big superstar dancer. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I can relate to this. You know, I wish she was a singer and not a dancer because it's a pixel game, right?
Yeah.
And there's like trying to like. There's a lot of moments where she's like just dancing and everyone's like, oh, wow. It's like, I just feel like it does not have the impact as if like, imagine if you hire like a really good Japanese singer, like a pop star to do it for this game. And then like every section like that, you get this like cool tune or whatever that she sings.
Well, because the whole game's voiced. So you could do that fairly easily. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Even if it's in Japanese or whatever, like, because that's pretty common in like anime and stuff when they sing. It just goes to Japanese because they don't want to dub this, you know what I mean? Anyways, I think that would have been handled much better because she's just swinging around. This little sprite's just swinging around. You're like, this does not have an impact on me at all.
Yeah.
Anyways, small grape, artist grape. But I connected with that. So I was like, okay, I'm going to give this a chance. And it started off really cool. You save up and you move to like the big city and like whatever. So I'm like, okay, I'm wondering where this is going to go. The story doesn't make any fucking sense at all. You go to the big city, you see the big superstar, and you're like, oh, she's great. And then you meet this guy who has this small pub you start dancing for. And then out of nowhere, like, these people just trash this place, and then you go and fight them. Dude, I don't fucking know. And then chapter 3, that's chapter 2.
Okay.
Chapter 3 is you go to this random island for no reason. You're just there. And it's like, you just run into these fucking random people who you help out.
Okay.
That's it. That's chapter 3.
Got it.
Nothing, no overarching thing. So I'm like thinking to myself, man, is this going to come together? Is there going to be some crazy fucking plot twist where it's all going to make sense? And it still could because I haven't finished it.
Yeah.
But as of right now, it makes no sense. She's the worst starting character to have.
So there's no... Like, I was expecting at least, like, okay, you're going around, because I didn't even get to everybody yet. I think I have 2 more characters to get.
Yeah.
And they're, like, next to each other.
Yeah.
But it's like, I assumed that after you did, like, everyone's chapter 1, then something would happen in the world that then unifies everything, more or less. So that doesn't happen.
No.
Yikes. Okay.
Now,
do you know how many chapters each character has?
Like 4.
Okay. That's not nothing. That's
not
what,
that's
32
significant.
chapters.
Yeah, no, it's great. I believe something does unite everyone at the end, from what I've kind of been hearing. Mm-hmm. Not in the game, but like elsewhere.
Yeah,
we'll see. But I've been playing it completely wrong because I only have 4 characters.
Yeah,
out of the 8. I haven't even met the other guys.
Oh, you didn't
because
get
everybody?
No,
because I've just been doing these 4 stories.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish all those 4 stories and then meet everyone else and then do that and just run through those.
So you're playing it complete. Okay.
100% wrong. But it lets you do it. So it's like,
why not?
You can't fault me.
Yeah.
So I guess like, here's the gripes. Depending on who you pick to start the game, none of it can make sense. Because like you meet these other characters and there's like, why the fuck would they join this random dancer? Like their stories are so much more crazy.
Right.
And like, why would they join her to go try to be a dancer? It would make so much more sense if it was the other way around.
Yeah.
Where she's like, oh, I'm just traveling the world.
Well, that's how mine was, right?
Exactly.
So like I came across I continent and I walk into this town. And it's just like, oh, hey, you're leaving to go somewhere else? Please take my sister with you because she needs to get out of here. Yep. Yeah. Like, that makes sense.
Yeah. So the best character to pick is, I guess, either your character. I wouldn't even say so. It's probably the warrior. Because based on what I heard there, is like he's fighting with his brother. And he's trying to, like, reclaim the kingdom.
That got really good.
Oh, yeah.
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 So that's one. Who are your 4 guys then? The dancer?
Not him, but I kind of heard what his story was.
Oh, okay.
Dancer, Throne.
Yeah.
So Agnia, Throne, Particio, who's the merchant.
Yeah.
Love his story, by the way. Fantastic. And the cleric, who is
okay, so you did
Temenos.
2 from either continent or whatever.
Got 2 from each. Throne's story is unbelievably good.
Yeah.
Did you finish it?
No.
Oh, my fuck. Dude.
Yeah. Dude, that's the only reason I play. Like, can you imagine if we both started this game?
Yeah.
And the demo's 3 hours.
Yep.
If I picked the dancer,
you'd be done.
I would have uninstalled and been like, yeah, enjoy that.
Yep.
But because I picked her, Throne first, I was like, that is so engaging and everything.
What chapter are you on?
And I'm still on chapter 1 for everybody because I'm going around doing every single one. That gets tiresome by the 7th and 8th character, though.
Exactly. That's why I didn't do it. I'm just like, I'm going to just max out the people I have.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to give everyone a shot and be like, all right, based off of how everything goes down, it was like, who are going to be like the 4 people that I want to see their stories.
Right.
And I feel that's kind of how I'm going to do it.
No, I just, because
but now I have like all these other games.
I would feel like I would be not making any progression if I did that because I just keep hitting level 1 characters. So I'm just like, I'm just going to max these guys out.
Well, that's what I mean. I'm doing one of each.
Yep.
But then I picked the 4 that I want to do. Yeah.
Throne, wow. That Ghost Place is incredible. Particia is great and might be one of my favorite themes for a character musically ever.
All right.
Just every time his theme comes on, so badass. My heart gets pumping. He's great. And then Temenos is it's okay. It's okay. It's pretty obvious, like you see it coming from a mile away, but it's still good.
Yeah.
And then Agnia's is terrible. As much as I really wanted it to be good.
Agnia's
the dancer. Yeah. So that's
so you didn't get
the scholar, who's the guy in prison.
Yeah, what's his name? Olivia?
I don't even know. Didn't get the warrior. Yeah. Didn't get the apothecary, and then didn't get the beast girl.
So those are the last 2 that I have, are the apothecary and the beast girl.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna try those 2, see what I get there. But I'll probably do Throne, the warrior, the student guy, and then the 4th one can be kind of whatever.
It sounds like I hate this game, but the game's so good.
It's fun. I think we talked about this in the last episode. Like the combat is good.
Yep.
It's just I would prefer more of an active time.
You have a time on it, or
it's not necessarily that, but like I like seeing the
granted too.
Yeah, I like seeing the timeline. I like picking things to knock people back on the timeline, and like that extra layer of strategy.
Yeah. Well, you get a little bit of that, but I know. I'm with you. Well, here's the thing too. I was in the mood for a JRPG.
Yeah.
This just hits.
I mean, you picked a good one.
Yeah. It just hits that. It's a beautiful looking game.
Yeah.
The music's incredible, and then it's really scratched that itch where it's like the more you get into it, you start to unlock, you get the secondary classes, and now you're like theory crafting, and it's a lot of fun in that aspect. So anyways, that was long-winded, but that's been a lot of fun. But I'm not even halfway, dude.
Yeah, that's a lot, man.
It's a lot.
Like that's a problem where like I want to play that because I think that will be in the conversation at the end of the year.
You should at least finish Throne Ace.
Can I streamline that after the fact? Like
if you're high enough level,
if you're high enough level, yeah.
But
she's my highest one.
It gets very high.
Yeah.
Like the last level is 45. Chapter 4 is 45,
right.
but
I think I'm at like 16.
Oh my god. Her.
All right. It's weird because
got wild. It got wild.
For chapter 2, it's split it between are you going after mom or are you going after dad?
You do both. You do both.
And that's still considered chapter 2 though?
Yep.
Okay.
So you do both of those. That's chapter 2, and then I think you do that again. Hers is pretty significant. You get like a lot because you have to go both paths, but
okay. Well,
Jesus, that goes crazy.
I'm excited. Yeah.
Yeah, she's great.
But I gotta wait for like I'm doing Redfall. I'm doing
right. No, exactly.
Advanced Wars. I'm doing Jedi, and I'm doing.
I'm committed, so I have to see it through. But I'm gonna have to put that down for a little bit because I gotta jump on. I haven't even started Mage Seeker yet, which I was really excited for.
Yeah, I forgot about Mage Seeker. Ugh, I have that. Dude, I bought way too many games over the past 4 weeks.
Yeah, it's too much coming out.
I mean, it's good.
Yeah,
like all that stuff's really interesting. Like there's a Pokemon-esque game that just came out that's up there.
Cassette.
Yeah,
something. I was going to ask you about that. Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
I feel like we got to try it because it's in the epic superhero tier.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, try it out.
Yeah.
You know what's not? Superfuse.
Superfuse?
Yeah.
Which one's that?
That's the Diablo-esque, but like with superheroes.
It sounded cool.
Yeah, it still looks cool, but it got terrible reviews. Like,
so I'm not
dude, don't put it out in early access if you're not gonna.
Well, as soon as I found out it was early access, I'm like, I'm just gonna wait till it's done.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, that just kills it.
I mean, look at Rogue. What was it? Rogue Warrior.
I don't know.
Rogue Legacy 2 got ripped apart in early access.
Right.
And then it came out and it was like one of the top games of last year.
Yeah. Cassette Beasts.
Cassette Beasts. Yeah, so I downloaded the demo because Steam was like, "Do you want to try the demo?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll try it out before I buy it." And then
it's on Game Pass.
Game Pass is it's just on there.
I think I should try that. No, that's another one on the list though.
Yeah.
So what do we have coming up? We have
Redfall's gonna be the main thing. Yeah. Which my cousin actually is.
But then Legend of Zelda. Are you gonna play Legends of Zelda?
You have to, right? You can't.
You have to.
Yeah, I will.
I'm not buying a Switch.
No, I will.
Just for that.
I will.
Do I
want to pay $70 for it? I don't know. Yeah. My cousin really wanted to. He was asking about Redfall. Yeah. Okay. So we'll at least have a full squad to try it out.
Lord of the Rings Gollum, which I cannot see that being a good game.
If it's a stealth game,
I could see
me maybe liking it.
I can't see it.
If it's like almost like a thief game, if you're just like running around just grabbing treasure and stuff and stealthing around,
I
could maybe like that.
Diablo 4, Street Fighter 6.
I'm gonna play it. Same with Tekken, but I don't think
we have to play it, right?
Yeah, it's just I don't.
Final Fantasy 16.
I'm not gonna pay $70 for Street Fighter 6. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
that's gonna be a sale.
I'm kind of hyped. I was kind of hyped for it. It looks cool,
dude. If you want it day one, I'll do it. But you have to meet me. I kind of
don't because dude, I want to love Tekken as much as you.
Yeah,
but I just want to play King.
Which is fine.
He's the best.
Yes.
There's no one better than King in any fighting game.
Oh, well. Okay.
Name one.
Well, my cousin made me so scared of Brian Fury that I really like Brian Fury.
Sure, okay.
That's just the little Tyler looking up to his older cousin.
Smacked around.
Dude, Heihachi's super cool. Badass. I don't know.
King's the best.
King's great. But that's like King 2 or 3.
Not the same guy?
No.
What do you mean?
The original King got killed, and then the second King...
I feel like everyone gets killed in that game.
No, Tekken 3 murdered everybody.
Really?
Like straight up murder. So the whole point of Tekken 3 was Ogre who is like the fighting god or whatever,
Yeah.
went around and just essentially murdered the roster of Tekken 2. So like everyone on Tekken 3, it was like, oh, it wasn't Michelle Chang, it's her daughter Julia, and it's not Martial Law, it's his son Forest Law.
Yeah.
It's not, so it's just like all these different like
stupid.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like, oh, it's not Baek-Do-san or something like that.
Yeah.
Is like this Taekwondo guy. It's one of his students
Right.
and stuff. So
They retconned it?
they didn't retcon all of it. So like most of the people still died. So like King still died. But I think King actually got killed by Armor King. It got really weird because at one point it was like King, Armor King, Marduk, and like they all hated each other and wanted to kill each other or something like that.
Yeah.
And then by like Tekken 7, they're like high-fiving and doing like wrestling moves together and stuff. So I don't know what happened there, but yeah. It's funny.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Wow.
Tekken's better than Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Come at me.
I don't even play fighting games, dude.
I
don't even play fighting games.
I have every Street Fighter. And
It just looks very stylish. I don't know.
Yeah, it looks great. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
I'll follow your lead.
I don't want to lead.
That's really it, right? Like
really it.
Black Flag got pushed to, or not Black Flag, Skull and Bones got pushed to who knows when. Justice League Suicide Squad game got pushed to next year.
Really?
Yeah. We might see Starfield this year. Maybe.
No.
Maybe.
I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked.
It's supposed to be.
I would be absolutely shocked.
Yeah.
Well,
we'll kill some vampires on Tuesday.
What's Tuesday?
Redfall.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's Game Pass. So it's like it's
you
quote unquote free.
You have to.
I don't know.
I mean,
Minecraft came out too. I don't know if we talked about that.
You said you hated it.
Yeah. Well, I didn't hate it, but I was like, this is not worth anyone's time. So I guess you could call it hate. Like they make you do a whole like intro mission before you can actually like play online with anybody. I'm just like, so many other games have done this better. Like, why would we play this?
Right. Yeah.
It didn't even feel like Minecraft.
I've never been a big Minecraft guy. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, they did a Diablo version of Minecraft, and that was actually like fun. Like that was kind of cool. Was it better than Diablo? Heck no. But like, it was still neat, and it kind of bridged the gap. This one is just, it didn't feel good.
Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, but
got anything else?
That was it. Do we have any polls or anything? Did you put up we still have to put up the McDonald's versus Arby's fry poll.
We put up the Pac-Man versus Pong.
We recently had Arby's curly fries.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Ooh.
Terrible.
Ooh.
And they just came out of the grease.
Uh-oh.
So they're as fresh as you can possibly, like it completely changed my opinion of Arby's.
That's not good.
I never want to go back to Arby's.
That's not good.
It was bad.
That's bad.
Yes.
Those are fighting words.
And on the flip side, had some curly fries from Sheetz. Very good.
The new king.
Delicious.
The new king of
curly fries? Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. I would take a Sheetz curly fry over.
I had Five Guys a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Cajun fries are awesome.
Gross.
No, you're wrong.
No, so I'm actually off the Five Guys train of fries. I'm so sick of them now.
I know.
Just like,
you say this every time I bring it up.
I just give me.
How long?
I would rather have 2 burgers, which are less calories than eating the fries.
Oh no, 100%. How long do you have to wait till you're back on?
A year.
And when were you sick of them?
Oh, I mean, we just had them not too long ago. I actually didn't like. I had a couple of Chelsea's because she liked the Cajun ones, but they didn't give us Cajun. They gave us regular.
Love the Cajun.
And I was like,
love them.
Ugh.
Love them.
No, I'm good.
Love.
I'm good.
How'd you feel about D&D?
Oh, is this how we do this? We do like a D&D recap?
I think some of our listeners enjoy our opinions on that.
I liked D&D. I thought it was okay. I think, and I was talking to Nate about this, I think yesterday, where it's like the only thing is if the little humans are squabbling, at some point, God needs to come down and make a ruling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I guess for context, there's some contention.
Yeah.
Where, and this is a difficulty when you're playing D&D. Okay. Where you're trying to be faithful to your character.
Yes.
But you're also trying to make a good playing experience for everyone, right? So there's a balance there. Sometimes you have to sacrifice a little bit. I guess usually my rule of thumb is, as a player, first of all, I try to make characters that are a little bit more easygoing.
Yeah.
Just because, then I don't feel like I'm betraying what my character wants to do. Right. And this is kind of the difficulty I had in the last game, where I had this like edgelord paladin guy, because he was very tunnel visioned on one goal and not very much of a team player.
And you didn't love that one.
No, I couldn't really find him. I talked about this last time. I really couldn't find him.
Right.
Just playing wise. I don't know what it was. I just, on paper it made sense. Pretty straightforward character, has a goal of revenge or whatever, and it's like
has a standard goal of, I'm just gonna go murder people.
Well, he's trying to get his sister back. It makes sense. Yeah. Okay. This works, and then works into the story really well. But I just couldn't find him, and I don't know. I really like Milo a lot more. I tried playing Milo once before. I don't know if you remember this.
I do.
Yeah,
it was a Calvin's campaign. Yeah.
Yeah, and I could not find Milo there.
No.
That was terrible.
This is a night and day.
Yeah.
This is my favorite character you've ever done. Easy.
I just remember I was in the shower at one point, and the voice came to me.
Yeah.
I'm just, okay, let's be a kid. Let's commit.
Right.
You work on the voice a little bit, and I think the voice is so important. If you can do the voice.
Yeah. Oh, now I see you rubbing it in because I can't find my voice.
No, your voice is good.
I'm getting there. I'm slowly.
No, I think I actually really like what you're doing too, because you're drinking throughout the night usually when we're playing.
And I get more.
And then your voice changes, but Thok's also drinking in the game. So it makes a lot of sense narrative from a narrative perspective. Yeah. Exactly. And then you get loosey-goosey, and I actually appreciate that. Not that you're doing it consciously, but I think it makes a lot of sense. But no, Milo just makes sense. I think his motivation makes sense. Yeah. He's one of my favorite characters that I played so far. But anyways, I guess my point is, I try to be easygoing. And this is why I hate edgelord characters, for me personally. I think they can be really cool and well done. I have a hard time doing it. But, so yeah, I like a little bit more goofy, silly, laid back.
Yeah. You're kind of like the glue in between, right? And like Thok is meant to be this like crazy, like I'm bigger than life type of guy.
Right.
But I feel like he's also the same kind of like, we're just like in between all of like the building blocks, right? Like we should be able to adapt how we need to be to kind of just fit in, because we take a little bit more on the humor side than necessarily like, I'm super serious, I must do X, Y, Z or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that we ran into, for a little more context.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't even go over it. Yeah, campaign,
sorry. But we ran into this kind of fork in the road, so to speak, where half the party was like, okay, our mission is done, we're going to go back to town.
Yep.
And the other half is like, oh, we still want to explore this kind of dungeon thing. Yep. And we're kind of, struck between like a rock and a hard place, because on one hand, like the characters, it's like, okay, clearly these characters would do this, or at least on the surface would do, like me and my like Nate, who is kind of like my girlfriend or something like that, right? In the game.
Sure.
She gets knocked out. She's unconscious. In my mind, it's like, all right, I'm going to take all the treasure. I'm going to take her to safety. We're going to go back home. I did what I told you I would do. I was like a mercenary for you guys. And then you guys would just explore. But the problem is, when you're thinking about that from like a real world sense, that's not fun. When like the two things that happen, really it's just like people are either going to just completely be inactive for half the session, the next session, which sucks.
Right.
Or people are going to like metagame because they'll hear stuff that they shouldn't technically know, and it's hard not to unhear things and stuff.
Yep.
So it's just like, we should keep the party together. So I think that was the thing where it's like, I'll do whatever I need to do to keep the party together, but like, the group just needs to work together to come up with okay, how did that happen? I think we ended up getting there eventually, but like that's where it was like, all right, God just stepped away and he was just like, you guys figure it out. That's a tactic.
You sure?
That's fine.
Right.
But also people were a little drunk. People were a little passionate where it's like, all right, just pick your poison or pick your lane. I don't know.
Yeah. So it is a delicate balance, right? It is.
Which I guess, to be fair to, not to keep cutting you off, but
you're good.
I guess he did say like, all right, well, then we're going back to town. But then nobody felt like that was a good decision either.
Yeah, no.
So like,
no,
I don't know.
I appreciate, because that can be very frustrating for a DM, right?
Yeah.
And here's the thing. As a DM, you kind of run into this issue too where you want the freedom of your players.
Right.
But again, you're trying to balance that with a good player experience. Mm-hmm. And I think we ended in a good place. I think we kind of, I don't know if everyone's super happy with it. I know it kind of went against a couple of the characters' wishes.
Yeah. But I'm still trying to play it where like, I'm not trying to step on toes or like, oh, I want treasure too, mm-hmm. right? Like it's one of those like, I stayed because as we talked, it was like, oh, there might be like health potions in the thing.
That's kind of where I was coming from.
Just run through and just bulldoze everything and do stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I think it makes sense. I think we ended in a good place and it makes sense. And but we didn't get a lot accomplished, which it was.
Yeah, but I thought like we didn't, but also in some sense we did. Right? Like when you really boil it down, like Milo got wrecked from the last combat.
Yeah.
So for this combat, like you're shook, you're trying to like you and I had a moment where I'm like trying to like pump you up to go back into battle.
That was cool.
Feeding alcohol to this kid, trying to shove him into like a warlock's path or I don't know what into danger.
Yeah.
And we're trying to play it off where it's just like I didn't do anything that combat, really.
Yeah.
Like I tried a couple things and I failed every single time, but it's like weaving it into the story and seeing how it interacts with the different people. And like we found out that me and Nate are romantically involved in some form or fashion because that's what the dice said, right?
Yeah.
Which then completely changes my way of feeling with him. We saw that my character also is like, oh, I'm hurting because like I was like almost dead the entire time. So it's like I'm trying to keep up this like strong exterior, but meanwhile I'm like trying to like sip like health potions and different things like that. But you got this role playing aspect to it, and you're keeping those motivations going, and we're finding organic ways to keep the group together. Mm-hmm. So we didn't maybe like move a set distance, but I think emotionally,
I agree.
We got somewhere as a party, more or less.
Yeah, every session I feel like, I don't know, I'm really enjoying my character. I'm really enjoying the interactions with the party. I'm
way more connected to everybody. Like I'm more connected to the entire thing because it's, again, we talked about this the past 2 times, honestly. It's like, it's small. Like we don't really, like you hired me for a job. And then I kind of threw a little curveball, which I'm hoping Jeff kind of plays into at some point. But it was just like, you guys needed an orc. You came to my camp, hired me to do it. Yeah. And meanwhile, it was like, I'm a half orc. I'm not.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not.
You're
the
not
guy.
the guy.
I'm not the guy. But I took the job
money.
anyway.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But yeah, like I love the idea of there actually being like a badass orc, like maybe like 2 football fields down the road. So stuff like that, where it's just like I like the little, just how imperfect we are.
Yeah,
I love that.
Well, no, 100%. And I'm trying to be a lot more conscious of just character building. Yeah, and because like I was like really thinking about it. I was like, okay, so last session I got shot in the face and almost died.
Yeah,
and I'm like a 10-year-old kid. This is gonna fuck me up for a long time.
Right.
And I'm trying to really play into that. Like, do I want to run into the battle? Do I want to be the most badass dude? Yeah, everyone does, right? You want to be cool, but it's like, okay, no, I would hesitate. I don't know if I want to fight anymore. I don't know if I want to be here anymore. Like,
yeah.
And then, you get that really cool moment where you're shoving me into battle and you're hyping me up, and you rolled really well because the dice indicated that you made a really good speech.
But then even that is like, and then we run into battle and we go after the same guy.
And I totally
I'm
fuck
about to kill a guy with a
We're totally
axe
uncoordinated. Exactly.
But again, that's the perfect bit. Is like we're a new party. We shouldn't be coordinated.
Yeah.
So like as the battle is going out, like every time we roll and we fail, I love the like when we're interacting with each other. So it's less about like you shoot an arrow and it banks off of something. It's more interacted where like we're almost sabotaging each other.
Yeah.
Like
on each other's toes.
Yeah, like by mistake. But I love that aspect too, because then it still
we'll
grows
start
the
growing.
party.
As we get stronger, as we start doing more crazy shit, it'll be like
or stuff where I'm like, I think it was the battle before where I'm like running to like Harbin and I'm like, shield. And then it's like, all right, what do you think that means?
Right.
For me, it was like, I'm going to jump on your shield and use it as like a springboard to kill somebody.
Yep.
And then he just throws his shield at me. So now I know next time if I shout shield, he's throwing me his shield and I'm going to like bull rush. So it's like that type of thing. Personally, that makes the combat special. Because like I hate combat, and that was the entire session was just combat.
Right.
But
much more
I love that
flavorful.
session because it had nothing to do with like,
I really
am I hitting my hits?
Enjoy the game and the group we're playing with, because I feel like setting the expectations was so important, right?
Yep.
And like that first game, we kind of felt out, how everyone plays, and then we sit down and we're like, okay, well, here's what we want out of the game, and now it's just like, I don't know. Yeah. So good. Not that anyone did anything wrong in the other game, but like, you kind of maybe need those growing pains a little bit.
Doing a mood board. We need 8 images of our character's voice and attitude or something. Yeah.
I'm excited for that. I've always wanted to do a game like 120.
120?
1 to 20. Like
120,
1 to 20. Yeah. I always thought that'd be so cool.
Yeah.
So there's actually a book. I think I might have been telling you about this.
Yeah, you mentioned it.
It was actually Kickstarter, so it's not an official Wizards of the Coast book, but it's a 1 to 20, levels 1 to 20 adventure that's set in like 4 parts. It's really interesting design too, because like they set it up where you can just pick and choose from it and drop it into any world or anything.
Yeah.
Or you could just play it as a single thing. I always thought that would be super awesome to play.
Yeah.
Here's the challenge you would have with it, though, is like you would be so attached to your characters that you would just feel like you cannot kill anyone.
Yeah.
So, like, how do you navigate that as a DM where it's like you want consequences, you want stakes?
Yeah.
But, like, okay, let's say you're level 17, which at that point you're probably able to revive people anyways, but, like,
yeah.
What do you do? What do you do with that? Like, you can't kill Thok at that point, right? Like, and then bring in some new guy for the last 3 levels. That's just crazy. You know what I mean? So is it like a thing where it's like, oh, you die, but you make a pact with a demon, and he brings you back, and now you have like
the other people have to go into hell to get you back, or something
right,
like that. Yeah.
So maybe I think there's ways to navigate it, but it's tough.
There was a TikToker that was talking about something like that, where he purposefully makes combat like brutal, like just insanely brutal, but. It's very Dark Souls-esque, where like there are checkpoints. And if you wipe your team, you respawn at the checkpoint. You still have to go back and still fight them and stuff. So you have to come at it with like different angles and like check out. Because like then you're starting to incorporate like, hey, we see this big dragon. We're attacking the dragon, killing the dragon. Dragon nukes us.
Right.
But we know we have to get past there. So then it's like, okay, well, you respawn. All right, well, let's try to like take off our armor, and now we're going to try to sneak by. Oh, dragon catches you. You're dead. Okay, let's try it again. Let's really scout out the place. Or, oh, you're really good here, and you're really... And like it forces you to explore and come at it with different angles, and maybe it's like, oh, can we hire an NPC to do this? Or can there be a distraction? And then... So, like, there are some cool aspects there where, like, I could see even that. Like, if you really wanted to just be like... It encourages... experimentation and stuff like that, because like otherwise it takes one bad dungeon and then you like the entire game slows up, because it's like, all right, I'm going to move very, very slowly, checking every nook and cranny and stuff like that. Like I'm telling you, next session, like which is like I don't even know, like 3 weeks from now or something. Thok's just running in. Like as far as I'm concerned, all threats have been neutralized. I don't care. I'm just kicking down doors looking for potions to do whatever.
Right.
Whatever happens to me, happens to me. But, like, that's the kind of stuff is, like, you wouldn't... I'm going to check every door frame and make sure there's not a tripwire. Like, okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't be a fan of that style just because it's too video game-esque for me.
Yeah,
and
it's not
I
for
like
everyone,
being
sure.
immersed in that's the beauty to me. That's the beauty of Dungeons and Dragons, where it's like the most quote unquote realistic you can get because the rules are so fluid. You can really just kind of do any little nugget that you want to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can have a game that's like as realistic and intense or as video gamey and arcadey.
See, like, where's the line there? Because, like, if I would...
Well, it depends on your players, right?
Yeah.
Like, what you want. That's the beauty of it. You can change it. Like, some parties would want to be like, I want to keep track of weight on my character. I want
like
to keep
food
track
and
of
water and
food and
stuff.
water,
Yeah.
sleep, all this shit, right? Every day.
Yep.
I always thought a game like that would be cool, where it's like, you know, in the Dungeon Master guide, they talk about living style, where it's like it has all the different levels. Here's how much you have to pay per day to eat and your just expenses.
See, that doesn't make sense to me if you're, like, adventuring.
Now, if you're venturing, I think that you would only incorporate that when you're in the city,
Yeah.
for an extended amount of time.
Yep.
But to me, like what I always wanted to do to like incentivize a healthier lifestyle is you start giving bonuses. Like there's a neutral one where you have to pay an X amount, or you can cheap out, but you might have some negative consequences, or you can pay more and get some buffs. That's how I always felt.
Same with like rations and stuff. Like you need a full ration, cool, add 2 to your next damage or whatever.
Sure.
But if you're hungry, you're subtracting 1 or 5 or 10, whatever. Yeah.
So anyways, I've always wanted to do a level 1 to 20 game, and I think it'd be so cool because like I was telling Jeff about this too, and you know,
you better start learning some paper mache if you're gonna do a 1 to 20.
He's so awesome. But like leveling up, I'm always like narrative first, right?
Yeah.
So I think leveling up should always be like there's some sort of milestone's the best way to do it because there's like you just completed the quest or whatever. There's some sort of downtime, and it's like okay, next session, I want everyone to write to me how they learned the new skill that they learned. Like what did they go through to learn? Because like you think about it, like you're learning this new skill or whatever. And it's like, I don't know, if you learned it like in the middle of combat, it doesn't really make sense. Like maybe there's some instances where you do that. Like if you're a warrior and you get an extra attack, it's kind of like you broke through your limits and you just kind of you just got faster. Like you were kind of back was against the wall. And
whenever I was doing OG Thok, your campaign, the thing that broke me into the Berserker path or whatever was I got just trounced by, I think it was the Dragonborn at that point.
Sure.
Where I got like wrecked and then went into this rage, but like beyond rage of just like, oh, this is the path I chose.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why it's like, I have an idea of like what I want to be class wise, but like if the game changes something and hey, maybe I'm not a Storm Herald or whatever, and like something else hits me.
Yeah.
I have no qualms at completely changing the direction. And then it's like, whatever happens, man. I don't care.
Yeah, I always so it's like that aspect of it, but also I think this subclass is so vital, like you're talking about.
Yeah.
To me, if I was DMing, I would always sit down with the player and be like, okay, you're a ranger. What subclass do you think you're going to go through? Because I would try to incorporate that into the story because I think that's such a monumental moment.
Absolutely, yeah.
When you reach that point where I think there's a lot of narrative flavor you can get out of that on like why, you know, whether it like if you're a ranger and you go Beastmaster, up until that point you don't have your pet, right? Theoretically.
Yeah.
So how can we weave that into the story where it's part of the session where you're going to meet this pet, you're going to have some sort of experience. This is why you're a Beastmaster now. You know what I mean? Whatever the case may be. Like from the wizard I'm doing, which is the Order of the Scribes, that's like the whole book coming to life is part of that subclass.
Okay.
So technically I'm not supposed to have that yet, but I just asked Jess like, hey, look, I don't want any of the benefits from it, but just flavor wise, can I have like this book that talks to me?
Yeah.
Just so it makes more sense narratively when I level up to level 2. Now I get all those benefits and now I kind of start unlocking the power from this book and stuff. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the same thing where it's like, but that's what I would like where the Storm Herald makes sense because it's like the sea, the lightning, you can breathe underwater. It's like, okay, we're literally in a salt marsh. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But I didn't want it to be like you control the desert. And there's no desert anywhere. And
you're
like
useless.
that might be the stronger path.
Sure.
Right? Like overall, like that would give me better abilities. But I don't want to just, I'm a desert whatever. I'm making that up. I don't know if that's right. But like, I'm a desert guy now. But like, there's no, you can't put that into the story somehow. Like, it's silly.
It'd be tough.
So like, I love that you kind of know where you're going and you want to do that, and it's already been like built in. But like for me, if the story makes sense, where it's like, hey, this would be a more flavorful path, the way that everything went down. Like,
no, I think there's a balance, right? Like, I think you can either like prepare for that, but I also think there's the other side of the coin, like you're saying, the flexibility of like, here's a life-altering event.
Yeah.
Here's why I'm now like, let's say we were in the last campaign, right? And I wanted to be like a paladin of truth or something. Mm-hmm. And then what if my sister died the first session? Mm-hmm. And now, I have to be vengeance now.
Yeah.
Right? Like something like that, I think it's there's two sides of it, I think. Yeah. I was very like, I don't know, for this character, I'm like very dialed into what I want.
Yeah, but you're playing it off perfectly. Like for me, my whole thing is I enjoy it most whenever I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And we just something new happens after the session. If I knew like, okay, this is where I'm going to go and here's my entire arc of like levels and what, because like I'm not even looking at the book,
right?
So like I don't even remember what skills I get at like level 2 or 3 or whatever. So it's just like when I hit that level, it will unlock, and then I'll read them and be like, oh, now I can do this. Cool. How can I know this now? And then to your point, like
So what I will say is I'm trying to incorporate that as well, where it's like, so when I level up, I'm going to be learning defensive spells, because at this point Milo's like, I need to protect myself.
Yeah, which is awesome. Sure.
So like False Life is going to be the next spell I learn.
Yeah.
And narratively, it makes sense. Like he's going to dip into, because that's necromancy school. And he's going to dip into this dark magic where it's like, you know, he's been warned about this stuff, but he's like, dude, like he's thinking about mortality. He's thinking about all this shit. And it's like, it just makes so much sense.
Murder like a dozen dudes in that by now.
So now I'm like totally like
brutally, like in bad ways.
No, it's so I'm really trying to hone in on like, how would my character react to this? Like, is this the most optimal build? No, but I have to because this just makes so much sense.
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
I love it. Yeah. I think the main thing is I'm actually engaged in the overarching, just like the world, the story. Like I have a reason to be there. I think every single person in the party has a reason to be where we are right now.
Yep.
And I almost consider that unique. Yeah. In all the other D&D, like to some extent, right? Like it's just like,
it's not a stretch.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I really enjoy it.
Yeah. To me, like number one, and this is a very personal thing, playing D&D is all about the story to me. It's all about, we're crafting a narrative together. We're not trying to win or lose. It's like the dice tell us what happened.
Right.
And we're going to try to make the most sense out of that. And I think, this is just totally lining up so far and just really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think we made the right call. Just sticking together. I mean, like we're going to handle it differently, but I think I don't want to wait like 2 hours while a party's ransacking a mansion. It's like I'm tending to
think of it from like a movie too, where it's like, sometimes things defy logic slightly, or maybe the motivation is a tad, but it's at the cost of the better narrative, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of feel the same way.
Yeah, and I feel bad too, because then we were retconning some stuff and we were kind of like tweaking things. And it's hard to even say retcon because like we were just like almost spitballing at that point, but like
I think there's like kind of a pause, and it's like, okay, what really happens?
Yeah,
but that stuff doesn't bother me too much.
Yeah,
unless you like retcon a session, which sometimes you have to do. Obviously, that takes you out of it a lot.
Yeah,
but I mean, if something just totally derails the game, it's like you gotta do something, right?
I think we're all fairly clever enough to figure something out. Though I don't think we'd have to go down that path.
I think you're right. The only thing, like, I'm getting way ahead of myself, and we're still level 1, but the only thing that bums me out is, like, Saltmarsh is, like, 1 to, like, 10 or something, which is significant.
Yeah, but then, I mean...
You can do anything after that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I would assume by 1 to 10, because we've done, 3-4 sessions now, and we're still level 1.
Yeah.
So, like, I feel like we'll know the world and know the people in it well enough that, like...
Could expand or do something
you can kind of just...
You can always do another book too, because I think this is like
it's in that world. Yeah.
Maybe not on the Sword Coast, but it's the same continent or something. The same world, I think.
I think so.
The problem is, I think I talked to you about this before. There's very few high level books.
Dude,
Wizards,
it's literally like, hey, I assume we'll have a ship by the end of the game, and if not, that's the first thing we do afterwards.
Yeah.
And then you just you take it across the
seas to a new, easy to go to whatever
content.
other book you want.
Doesn't matter.
But I'm just saying, there's not a lot of campaigns.
Yeah,
you can always do your own, but
I mean that's when Jeff's training wheels come off.
Wow, it's just tough. It's tough, dude.
Nuts,
Doing
man.
your own game is so tough. I love it. And when it works well, but I don't know. Maybe it's just a me thing. I'm just not good enough at it.
Dude, the best thing is being on a ship where it's like you're in the middle of the ocean, you can't go anywhere. You have to interact.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah. I always like having the NPCs too.
Yeah.
That's a very me thing. I know someone like Nate hates that. He hates NPCs. He hates you know
but
what I mean?
It's different when the players are making them, right? So me just throwing out oh, well, you Orgrim or whatever his name is, down the road.
Yeah.
That orc is crazy.
Yep.
Okay, he regardless if we ever talk to him or see him or do whatever,
right?
He exists technically.
Technically. Yeah.
So then you do the ship, same thing. You have here's your first mate.
You were going through, and you still have it, which is awesome.
I found him. Awesome. I was really excited.
I will say, like we were talking about before, I think the slow drip, so tough to do, but I think so important. Where it's you start mentioning, someone says something, it's man, that reminds me of Rafiki this one time.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But just that one story about him.
Yeah.
And that's it. Not oh, here's all my crew and stuff.
That's fair.
You know what I mean?
I forget why I was listening out. You said something. I was like, oh, you want to?
Yeah, no. Yeah.
You want to talk about friends.
Which is, look, totally cool. And because it's top of mind still. It's dude, because it's the second time you mention that.
Yeah, it's you're going
because
to bed.
You're fucking traumatized from it. Obviously. Yeah. But yeah, I really like that kind of.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude! My first mate, he used to love sandwiches. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just the smell of the meat roasting. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Just something small like that. But what was I gonna say? I can't remember what I was gonna say.
I'm excited for 3 weeks from now.
I'm excited. I just want to fully see a character through, because you always everyone's always done this where they look through all their abilities and just dude, by the time I get to level 20, it's gonna be so fucking awesome.
I've never done that.
Me neither. Well, you've never done it.
I have no idea. You could tell me a bar. I know up to level 5. Granted, I have to go back and look at them.
Yeah.
But we had a level 5 character. That's the highest I've ever been.
Okay, maybe it's just a personal thing then.
Yeah, I mean that's totally fine.
I'm not trying to min max, but it's always been oh my god, can you imagine when I can just summon meteors from the fucking sky and wipe out a town?
Can you imagine when you have no idea that's even possible or coming?
Right. No, I think
it unlocks, and not only does it unlock, but you can use it immediately.
Yeah. So, cool. And I think the reason people actually generally don't like higher level games is because it is just a nightmare for the DM. Because you have demigods walking around that can flatten a city, go to any plane of existence they want, one shot any dude.
See, that's
at that point,
by that point, put them in hell.
If you were a murder hobo, how do you stop them?
Yeah,
you could walk into a town and take whatever you want. So I think it's on the players at that point to be okay, let's not abuse our let's not abuse our power. And you have to have at that point it's fate of the world, fate of the universe, kind of it's got to be big.
This town's gonna be cratered anyway in 5 minutes, so
it can't be this town anymore.
While you got on, yeah.
So I think it's possible. I think it's tough, but
we'll get there eventually.
I hope so, man. I just want how cool would it be? And I know I'm harping on this long. I know we're way past.
We're good.
How cool would it be to see Milo grow up?
Yeah.
And by the time we're level 20, he's a 35-year-old dude, a 40-year-old dude.
Well, the cooler thing with that would literally be Thok would be dying by then.
Might be dead.
Yeah.
By old age.
Right. So understanding that and then having that depth on that character who presumably you were together for 30 years or whatever. That would be cool.
That would be crazy.
Yeah.
That's to me, that's that long term. Because
is it does time build something in where it's you, and I don't know if they would cheapen it, but do you try to find the fountain of youth, or do you try to do
I try I'm so attached to Thok now in this party
that
my goal shifts to keeping all of us immortal.
Yeah, or you're so
right?
into necromancy, like now
and I
you
start
just have a
dipping
zombie
into the dark arts.
Yeah.
Get it, like I'm the bad guy. Like I don't know. Who knows how it could go? It'd be very interesting.
I love the idea of which we kind of, again with Josh's campaign kind of got it there, where it's like one of the party members eventually just turned into like the bad guy, like he was corrupted or whatever, and now suddenly he's like the main villain or something.
Right.
To see that come full circle would be sick.
Oh yeah, that'd be interesting. I just think there's so much potential.
Yeah,
and putting the cart before the horse, but
for sure. Like we need
the
to
possibilities
get out of
are. I mean, this is why it's so fun. The game's so fun because the possibilities are endless, and we never know what's gonna happen.
But that's the thing is you can't fast forward to that because you cheapen it, and then it doesn't have the same impact. So like it needs to be this slow drip.
Yeah,
and people just have to be invested.
Yeah, how cool would it be though if people come and go? Mm-hmm. Like some people want to play new. I know Nate always likes playing new characters and stuff. So maybe people come and go, but there's like some of the core is consistent, whether that's Thok, whether that's Dewey, whether that's Milo, or all three of them.
Yeah.
People would, but this like, I don't know. I just think over the years, things change. You meet new people, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
It'd be so cool just to see. And then you have all this history, all this like, and at that point you like retire the character and it's like, you can't touch them ever again. Like that's why I've always wanted a level 1 to 20 game.
The bronze minifig, like the giant one. And
if you get a level 1 to 20 game, if you survive the whole time,
that's it.
And you have the whole legacy. It's like you immortalize.
If I was DMing a 1 to 20 game, anyone that got from 1 to 20, I would just buy them like a giant bronze like bust of their character. Yeah, that'd be sick.
That was so awesome.
Yeah,
but. Well,
cool.
That was longer than I intended, but I don't know. I've been enjoying talking about D&D. Kind of reignited the passion for it a little bit.
Yeah.
Have you been including timestamps?
Nope. I can't on this one.
Well, it's up to you.
Yeah,
there might be timestamps. I know some people like just listening to certain sections. So
yeah, I did get a note from some podcast blog I follow. It's like, hey, if you have segments. That's good. I was like, all right. Well, we'll just call this a D&D segment. That's fine.
Thanks for listening, though.
Yeah.
And check us out, couchcompany.games. Everything's there. Mm-hmm. All our shows, all our things.
all the links.
We have a nice Hi-Fi Rush review still on there.
You're going to be doing Octopath. You said it.
Theoretically.
You put it out in the wild, man. You got to...
Well, I didn't put it on tape. You put it on tape, though.
Yep, I did. So
that's going to happen. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm not a great writer, so
you're
a very good writer.
Yeah, but I don't enjoy doing that way of writing.
Style.
I want to write it in a much more.
Why not do it the way you want?
I'm going to.
Okay.
So I think Advanced Wars is gonna be the first one I do, where I'm gonna talk very like I'm talking now, just very sarcastic, very just kind of to the point. Like this was great, this sucked, whatever. Yep. Like, and just not care about like.
No, do it the way.
Is this a correctly formatted sentence?
Yeah. Do it. I think that's what makes it unique.
Yeah, we'll find it.
Yeah, at CouchCo Games on Twitter as well. We have pools sometimes. Mm-hmm. Haven't recently, but we'll get back to it. And we appreciate you being here, listening to us. We will be here, same time, same place next week. Thanks for joining us on the couch. Peace.